Hello, and welcome to the Dad Lab Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
And Andrew.
On today's episode, we are abandoning our normal format and we're getting spooky with our Spooktober Halloween extravaganza. We still have the Newsdesk with stories about full moons, candy cannons, and the most popular costumes of 2020. In our Mount Rushmore segment, we discuss our all-time favorite Halloween candy, and in a bonus Mount Rushmore segment, we talk all about our scariest horror movie villains of all time. We have all that and more on a very special edition of the Dad Lab Podcast. And if you haven't done it already, and I know it's getting old, but we really need the help, if you could, please rate and review us on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. It would really help us out, and we would really appreciate it. And you can follow us on social media at thedadlabpod on Instagram and Twitter. Or if you have any questions or comments about the podcast, email us at thedadlabpod@gmail.com. So what's going on, man? Feels good to be back. It's always good to be back in the chair.
Yeah, back in the chair. Just had a very adulting week this week with just a lot of stuff going on after work. You know, even when you get home from work, you still got stuff to do. Helping Claire out at the shop. You know, watching Ellie while Claire does parties and stained glass classes at the shop. So just not a lot of me time this week, which is fine, you know. But I still got to squeak in some sports and got to watch Earnest. That was good. So, but yeah, just a very adult week for me this week.
No, I feel you. Busy week. We are having a early Thanksgiving.
A month early?
Yeah. One of Lauren's cousins is in the Army, and he's been deployed. He just got back a few weeks ago, and he's stationed up in Washington State. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
It's beautiful, I bet.
Yeah, so, and he just had a kid, so him and his wife and the kid are coming down, and that's what he requested. So, because he's not going to be around for Thanksgiving, so we're doing one at her mom's house, and I've got to smoke 2 turkeys out on the smoker. So
this weekend?
Yeah, so I'll be up.
They're Thanksgiving before Halloween.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love Thanksgiving food, so that used to be like when I was a kid. My grandma would made the best dressing, and I love dressing. And she'd be like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And my birthday's in November already, but I'd be like, "I want turkey and dressing." I'd get as much as I could. I would get Thanksgiving food for my birthday.
Yeah, so I've got to smoke 2 turkeys, which I don't mind that work.
That's a fun chore to have.
Yeah, any chance I can throw anything on the smoker, I look forward to. So yeah. I've got to brine them. When I get home tonight. We're recording on a Friday, so we're eating on Sunday. So I've got to throw them in a brine tonight and let them brine for 24 hours, and then Saturday night, or I guess early Sunday morning, I'll probably stay up and throw them on the smoker, and then just try to get a few hours of sleep, and then. But I don't mind it. It's fun to me. I love smoking. Getting out on the smoker, it gives me an excuse to drink a few beers and hang out outside and just have, like you said, me time. So not a big deal. But I wanted to get into some of our favorite Halloween memories. Do you have any favorite memories from a child, or do you have a few that stick out, or one that sticks out?
Probably the most thing that sticks out is like Halloween night going around. We used to live in Lancaster. Back then, it was different. We would just go up and down our one street. It was a long street off of Beltline, and Greenbrier was our street. And, that would be supervised, me and some of my friends' parents just walking up and down the street. But then when we moved to Red Oak, that's when it was more of a community thing, and we would all jump. This is where I was getting at, that I remember the most and love the most, was getting in my dad's 10-foot trailer. He'd put some hay back there, and we would just cruise around our neighborhood, which wasn't a big neighborhood, and maybe we go to a couple others, but just jumping in the back of that and passing everybody, and we'd hit every house, because he would pull right up, stop, all the kids would get out, run. The parents could just stay in the car, some of the dads would be in my dad's truck with them, just watching us. And, you feel like you had that freedom, but you're still being supervised. So that's something I would do with my kids today if I had a trailer to pull them in. I always think that's a great idea.
No, definitely. Mine was just it was a lot of freedom that night.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't give my kids nearly as much
No,
freedom now, but back then, yeah, because even when you got older, it'd be like you'd just go out with she'd be like, oh, because I have an older sister, go out with Alicia, and just Alicia watch out for your brother, and we just hit the road, man.
Yeah,
Watch scary movies when you got home, like that was the night, and that's right. Sorry, but that's 3 days before my birthday,
Right.
So that's why it's like
whole...
that weekend was always like the best weekend of the year for me.
Yeah, I just remember being probably not real young, but probably 10 or 11, 12. And that was the first time we just went out.
Unsupervised.
Yep. Unsupervised. And going out with your friends and running the neighborhood and causing, chaos. And it was just a lot of fun. I remember Halloween being a lot of fun. And then as you get older, you have parties. And that's really fun, And now as an adult, I don't invite me to a costume party.
Yeah, now I'm more worried about, like, I hope nobody does anything to my house.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hand out candy that much,
See, I do.
I'm more of a living out the bowl kind of guy, going by the honor system.
See, I want to, but I think we talked about it a few weeks back, but we just don't get that traffic.
Yeah, you don't get the foot traffic and we're only separated by like half a mile, but I feel like my street would get more foot traffic.
This side of the street that divides us seems like it would be a hot spot.
Yeah.
Because you've got 4 or 5, 6 long streets.
They all run parallel with like 2 major streets.
And that seemed like it would just be right, but people just don't do that. So what are y'all doing for Ellie this year?
Well, we've been talking about it. She's already got her costume. She's going to be Poppy from Trolls, even though now she wants to be a witch. But, that complete 180, I appreciate it. I think she would make a great witch. It would be funny, but it's just getting too close, and I don't want to buy her a new costume because she'll forget about it. She'll be Poppy. Don't worry. She'll be Poppy, and I think we're going to go to my sister's house. And just because we don't want everybody to think we're so antisocial, we're like, let's just go there for a couple hours. We'll bang it out, we'll just, because my sister lives in a cul-de-sac, Ben lives on the next street over, we can go see Ben, and then just come back to because it's a Saturday night, and I think we still want to, like, hang out, and, I'm going to stay up and watch scary movies. Hopefully Ellie will go to sleep, she's going to be stoked about her candy, and I'll regulate, I'll be like, you have this much, and we'll save the rest. So take her to her house, let her get candy, and then hopefully she'll fall asleep, and I'm going to stay up and watch scary movies.
Do you apply the dad tax to the candy?
Oh, I'm going to make sure they're all... I take the bite first to make sure it's... That's what my parents did. Let me take a bite of that burger and make sure it's not poisoned.
No,
at Applebee's.
I definitely take my fair share.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how I teach my kid about taxes.
That's a brilliant way to put it, too.
Yeah.
Teach him a life lesson while satisfying a sweet tooth.
And your dad's fat, and he just wants some candy. So,
I second that for myself.
Yeah, we're gonna the square up here in town. They do a great job.
They do that every year.
We did it last year. It's so easy. I mean, all the businesses participate. It takes you maybe an hour. You've got all kinds of kids. You see a bunch of different costumes. And what's cool is Lauren, the pub is right there off the square right there, and we start there. So it allows me to go in, have a couple beers while, Lauren and Landry are taking pictures with the other kids that, of the people that work there and hanging out or whatever. So that allows me to get a couple beers in. I get a paper cup and get me a beer to go. Mm-hmm. And then we hit the square, and it's super easy and no fuss. And then the restaurant, Pops, they're doing a trunk or treat. So we'll take him over there and let him see all the cars and get some candy there. So it's super easy. If y'all hadn't made plans, I was going to tell y'all to come on and go with us. But I like it because it's super easy. I don't like that Landry won't get that experience that we had growing up,
we're like the last generation to maybe have that freedom. Just because the times change so much now. I don't want my kids wandering alone now without me.
No, I agree. I mean, even though I would take them. There was just that whole experience of walking the neighborhood. It's different walking around a square in daylight,
Yeah, they do the daylight. They do it around lunchtime. What you're talking about?
They do. I think it's 3 to 6 or something like that. But nevertheless, it's fun. It gets the job done. It's no fuss, no muss.
And at the end of the day, Landry's going to get his candy. He's going to get to wear his costume. He's going to see his friends. So,
and I hope as he gets older, we can do a haunted house or something.
Oh yeah,
we can throw that kind of stuff in there. But no.
They're a little too young for the haunted houses still. I don't want to. Sure. I don't want to traumatize them just
for sure. But no, the thing on the square, it's great. It gets the businesses involved.
Yeah.
There's a sense of community there, so it's all good. And like I said, for the parents, it's pretty easy. There's no driving around. There's no walk. I mean, you're walking, but it's
within like half a mile. Everything you
you're just
probably walk
hitting a
half a mile
square.
total.
Yeah, you're just
walking
hitting
a giant square. Yeah.
Yeah, and they get plenty of candy, so it's all good.
I know Claire's not going to miss it since she moved her shop off the square. She did not care for that as much.
She didn't.
No.
Well,
Just because you think about it, she doesn't make any money. There's people she does because no one can come in because of the foot traffic, and she's just having to stand out there the whole time and just hand out candy.
True.
So she made no money, and I mean, it's not that she doesn't want to hand candy out, but you open a business to make money, and she'd be like, "I'll make nothing today, and I'll have to buy $100 worth of candy,
True.
and I'll still run out with like an hour to go."
Yep.
So
Just close it down and go home.
yeah, so new spot, new location.
Well, good. So that takes us to the news desk. And I think the first story we're going to get to, you kind of hinted at, and we neither of us had an idea of when you came up with this. I think I had a story a few weeks back about somebody inventing like a candy chute.
Yeah, like the tube
and you
system.
were like, man, just get a cannon and fire it at those kids.
Easier said than done. I'm not a software engineer like my guy Luke Keys takes Austin, Texas. So Luke Keys lives in Austin, is embracing socially distanced trick-or-treating. He's testing a variety of methods to deliver candy with minimal contact as coronavirus safety precaution. He says that he has been toying with several ideas this year, including a candy launcher, a drone, and even a robot delivery system. He says him and his wife Michelle really love Halloween, adding that her family would host a haunted garage experience each year. The couple has just put their own twist on Michelle's Halloween tradition, holding annual haunted science labs out of their garage. Key said that their spooky science lab drew about 100 people last year, but we built a reputation in the neighborhood, and this year some of the neighborhood kids would ask about it. What's it going to be like? He said that him and his wife were torn about what to do this Halloween in light of the pandemic. They ultimately decided not to hold a haunted garage and instead planned to create a video series demonstrating socially distanced trick-or-treating methods. The footage shows Keys sending treats sky high with his PVC pipe candy cannon for the first part of the series. Keys said that the candy cannon was originally a confetti launcher he built for his wedding, and it has since been used on Easter, for birthdays, and other special occasions. Key says that while the candy cannon is a fun concept, he won't be using on Halloween as it is unpredictable and a little dangerous. Keys said that his robot, Artie, will definitely deliver candy on Halloween, and he's hoping to conjure up a second robot in time for additional deliveries. I said, why are you going to make a candy can if we're not going to shoot it at the kids? Just live a little, Luke. That's all I'm saying.
I think he's playing a little safe.
Playing it a little too safe.
I would be firing it right at their face.
Yes, you give them a heads up, you yell, watch out, and you fire the thing.
Even up in the air.
You have a cannon. Yeah, let it rain down. Tootsie Rolls. Ain't gonna hurt anybody.
That would be great.
That would be awesome, yeah. You could like open a bag of M&Ms and Skittles, say, what are you gonna get? M&M or Skittles? Take a bite and find out. Like, you have so many opportunities, and I feel like it's just wasted. Don't get me wrong, a robot delivering candy would be extraordinary.
Because you could like dress it up, or
yeah, you could put like a little butler outfit on them and like a little serving tray. That's how I just pictured it in my mind. It was more of a butler with like a silver platter tray delivering your candy. Very fancy, but yeah, man, you have the cannon. Try it once. You know what? Save it for when those rowdy teenagers come. Shoot the candy at them
when they're egging your house at 1 in the morning.
But then then it's like, yeah, they shot him at him, but there was Reese's Pieces in there, so can't be mad at them.
No, they got some whelps.
Yeah, they got a couple whelps, but then they can eat the pieces that bruised them.
They're fine.
So it's a win-win. So maybe save that for the little shithead kids that come around after midnight.
But I don't want to be this guy, but if we can go to drive-thrus and y'all can't see me, but I'm mimicking handing a bag through a window to Andrew right now. If we can do that, and we can go to restaurants and somebody can set food in front of us, or we can go to all these places, to the grocery store, why can't, and I know the argument comes down to essential and non-essential, but why can't kids do this on Halloween? You know,
games just wear a mask, right?
well, we talked about it. The city of LA totally canceled Halloween.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of counties in California that are saying that they don't want people meeting up for Thanksgiving and Christmas either. Which
I think if you could wear a mask, because when I'm driving through, they wear a mask. As long as one party's wearing a mask, you're doing pretty good.
I just don't think like you should rob kids of Halloween. I mean, we're gonna be doing Halloween.
Well, we're still doing Halloween, but we're gonna definitely do it safe. I don't think anyone's like getting robbed of an experience. She still can dress up. She can still go see her cousin, and she can still go get candy.
Well,
but we're not gonna Leroy Jenkins the whole.
But there are several cities around the country that aren't doing Halloween, and I think that's a shame.
Yeah,
I think it's a shame.
It's also a shame that all this shit hit the fan when it did, and
yeah,
how it's went down. So the fact that Halloween not being held in LA is probably the least of my concerns, though, for 2020. To be honest,
that's true. That's true. But talk to kids in LA. It's all content. It's all relative. But our next story, the headline reads: Halloween will have its first full moon in nearly 2 decades, and it will fall on a Saturday too. And this is by John Meyer of the Denver Post. It reads, the next full moon won't be the biggest or brightest of 2020, but it could be the spookiest if you're into that kind of stuff. That's because on October 31st, we will see the first full moon on Halloween since 2001, and we won't see another until 2039. We'll also be seeing a so-called blue moon, meaning it will be the second full moon of the month, which was on October 1st. The next time there will be 2 full moons in the same month will come in August 2023. In the last year we had one. We actually had 2 in 2018, and in January and March, and February sort of helped out there by only having 28 days. Otherwise, it would have taken one of those moons from March. The Halloween moon will not appear larger or brighter than normal. This year we had our super moons in March and April, the 2 months of 2020 when full moons coincided with the moon's closest approach to the Earth. For the year at about 222,000 miles. The moon will be more than 252,000 miles away on October 31st, very close to its maximum orbital distance. So if you wanted to add any extra spookiness or extra cool factor to Halloween this year, it's on a Saturday, and we're going to have a full moon. So
full moon on Halloween is just like a treat.
Beware of the werewolves.
Yeah, there's one that's in the headliner or something about werewolves.
Yeah, it says CC, like copy, like on an email, it says CC werewolves. So,
and this is random, and I didn't do the research, but I'm pretty sure next weekend is a time change too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like Saturday, is it Saturday night?
Technically, yeah, it's like Sunday morning.
Sunday morning,
yeah.
We'll fall back.
Yeah,
which is great. Another reason to stay up an extra hour and get spooky.
That's true. And man, just a little side note: the weather today is fantastic.
Claire came out bitching. And I was like, "This is the best." You could see the clouds move. Like there's a storm coming in early. You could see it getting dark. Claire went ahead and loaded up the crock pot for like taco soup.
Oh yeah.
Had it cooking all day, so we had it was definitely a soup kind of day.
The wife made chicken and dumplings.
Yeah, we immediately started loading up that crock pot. Shout out Paul. Loading up the crock pot with all these things, and yeah, we had taco soup for dinner, and it was delicious.
Well, funny, because I kind of knew a cold front was coming, but in the last episode I told you my brother got married. They went up to Denver for the honeymoon.
How was it there?
Well, he was like, man, the first couple days, he called me last night, and he said the first couple days were beautiful weather, probably high in the low 80s or upper 70s. He said, but tonight it dropped. And
I go, because it came from the north.
I said, "Oh yeah, it's
northwest
coming.
Like that."
Yeah, I said, "Oh, that we it must be on its way here." And then the high was, or I think the high it got down to like 53 today.
Hopefully, he packed a little bit of everything for the trip. If it's gonna go from low 80s to like the highs in like now the 50s, like
who knows? Because
he's gonna bump.
Friday night we were trashed. Saturday night
he probably just packed flip flops and
no, dude, I'm loving it. As a fat dude who had to sweat through, like, this is my favorite.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why would I not want to wear sweats all day? Like, I don't care if that's unprofessional. I can wear that shit to work with my job. I can wear sweatpants and I just have like a zip up jacket, a hoodie. I'm good.
Yeah, no, as a big dude who has to sweat through the summers, I love this time of year because the temperature's coming down. And it's just my favorite.
And this is why fall is my favorite, because it's not, everybody says it's too cold. No, it's cold in winter. In fall, the high can be like 63 for the day, and that's great. I don't want it to be, 27 with wind. That's fucking cold. But when you don't complain about like 53, that's still cool, but it's not cold.
I was wearing this today.
Yeah.
In like a,
you can dress so comfortably.
Pullover. Yeah.
So yeah, I love
Me too.
fall weather. It's always been my favorite season. So Halloween's my favorite holiday. My birthday's right around the corner. Football season. It's usually hockey, basketball season. Playoffs in the baseball. It's always like the accumulation of fall was always like just my favorite for all these reasons.
This is my favorite time of year.
Good. Glad we agree.
So let's move on to our last story. And like I mentioned in the open, we are going to go over the most popular Halloween costumes of 2020. And this is a list based that Google put out.
And these are actually ranked like by units. It's not just some random order.
This is ranked by the most searched, the most searched down to the last searched.
Well, the top 2 surprised me. I'll say that.
So let's start at 15 and we'll work our way up. And coming in at 15, it's Purge,
which is probably that guy's the mask.
Yeah,
they
I'm
would
guessing.
wear.
Yeah, like that one mask you see from the Purge.
Real big.
Yeah,
that's a good series too. Ever since I didn't like the first one, but since then they've done a good job with that series. So I would recommend the Purge. All of them, if you were looking for a movie to watch, Halloween.
14 is a pumpkin.
I feel like that's a kid's move.
That's a kid's move, and that's a young, like
that's like a baby.
Like a toddler.
Yeah, I feel like Elliot was a pumpkin one time.
And I think that's a very cute, like, safe bet.
Yeah.
Like, that's adorable.
Oh, that's guaranteed safe, like, photo op.
Yeah, anytime you see, or I see, like, a little baby or an infant in a pumpkin outfit, automatic like.
I just want to carve my name into them.
Jesus.
It's a Halloween special. Sorry. I just want to reach right in there and take out all those CDs.
Take out the insides.
Just de-gut them completely.
All right. Moving on to 13, we got Zombie, which is near and dear to my heart because I am a zombie fan.
Me too.
But I feel like to pull off Zombie properly, you need like a lot of prosthetics.
You need somebody who can do serious makeup because
you
can't just be like fake blood guy with like a torn shirt and say you're a zombie. Like, no, I want to see a fake eyeball hanging out.
That's like a lazy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like you went to the thrift store, got a T-shirt, and then got some of that fake paint and just splashed it on you. Like, you look like you could be a car wreck victim for all I know. You could be a hit and run victim. You're not a zombie. You got to have like a detached jaw.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I don't know if you like. I've seen cat attacks that have caused. Yeah. So
I want to see like you got to have like a dislocated shoulder. Eyeball sticking out, and you're dragging a foot. Now you're getting there.
Yeah, okay. So moving on to number 12, Doll.
Very vague.
That's vague.
Is that Chucky? Is that just
Barbie?
Like? Yeah. Is this for an adult? Joe? He's an action figure. That's not a doll.
Okay, I was wondering if you were going to correct me there.
Yeah, because I played with G.I. Joes, and those are not dolls.
So moving right along, Cowboy. Again, vague. Are we talking Woody, or are we talking
Cowboy?
Like Dallas Cowboy?
I don't want to be a Dallas Cowboy this year. It's a cowboy, like tip of your cap, spit in a cup.
Okay, gotcha.
Cowboy.
Number 10, classic Spider-Man. No surprises there. I'm actually surprised it's not higher.
That's for like the last 20 years probably been a hot.
Number 9 is Ninja. Another classic.
Beverly Hills Ninja. That would be more my style with the rolling in with a gut.
I could pull that off.
I would definitely be
right now.
Yeah, that would be a great one actually. That would be my ninja.
And then number 8, we've got Devil. That's a safe bet.
That's another kid costume.
It's a safe bet. And then coming in at number 7, probably the most kid costume, Fortnite.
Well, and since you said that, now that I'm looking, I'm surprised there's not like a Minecraft either. For another kid, because isn't Landry going to be?
Landry's going to be Minecraft.
So that would seem like Fortnite and Minecraft would go hand in hand, and you would think it would. I would have thought it was top 15, like Purge. I would think that would get knocked out.
Me too.
Don't do the dance if you're going to wear the Fortnite. Does the dance have to accompany
the
it?
The dance is going to happen.
Because then I'm using my candy cannon, and you're taking it to the face.
Number 6, you've got Angel, which is weird.
Like a slutty angel? Or am I going to hell for just saying that?
No, not at all. That's half of Halloween as an adult.
Yeah, right?
That's why women love Halloween. It's that one
like,
excuse they can get slutty and not be shamed for it.
I wouldn't shame you.
I'm not shaming.
It's other women not shaming you because guys are going to be like, great costume.
Because other women are jealous.
Yeah, right?
Because they've got to go dressed up as like a frog or something. So number 5 is a clown, which again, that's very scary.
That could be the scariest. That could be scary. Yeah, fuck that.
You could go really nice. You could go Ronald McDonald, or you could go Pennywise.
And you could be like hanging under a street light with like a balloon.
Balloon, yeah.
And I would lock my doors and grab a gun.
Do you remember a few years back where people like you saw those videos?
Wasn't it like in Florida? Wasn't that the big one?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
in Florida,
I think it was. There's like a documentary on Hulu. I think his name's like Bubbles or Bubbles the Clown.
Yeah,
and like you could hire him to like scare the shit out of people, and it was.
And then it spawned like other people, like copycats, and they were like all over the place.
And that was right around the time the remake of It came out, Chapter 1.
Yep. Number 4 is Rabbit.
That's weird. How was Rabbit number 4? Like Peter Rabbit?
Again, I'm assuming this is like a infant
Roger
toddler.
Rabbit?
I don't know.
Roger Rabbit would be pretty cool, actually. Just looking Who Framed You the whole time, like trying to solve a mystery. And then you get your old lady to like dress up as Jessica. Jessica Rabbit. That was probably my first crush. That was my first baby boner right there.
First half chub.
Yeah, that was when I looked down and go, what is going on? Jessica Rabbit's on the screen.
You got a lot of blood flow right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood flowing to my pull-ups right now.
And again, going back to being slutty, number 3 is Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
You could get real creative with that.
Yeah, I just couldn't pull that one off last year, though.
Yeah, you didn't look good.
I think it was the bulge popping out, maybe the pubes.
The beard really didn't
and they didn't like it on the square when I showed up with the alien costume.
That's why you're not going back.
That's why Claire had to move shop, actually.
Figured, yeah. And then number 2 is Dinosaur.
Probably the like inflatable ones, right?
That, and I figure a lot of little kids, around 3, 4, 5 are probably into dinosaurs. You see a lot of T-Rexes or whatever.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a kid in a dinosaur outfit, but okay. I've never seen a rabbit either.
True. And then the number one most searched Halloween costume of 2020 is a witch.
Just a good default.
That makes sense.
What happened? Where's the ghost where you can just throw a sheet over you? Is that too close to like a rally? Like a KKK rally now? It's not like a pointed hood. You just get like the old stained sheet and cut some holes in it. Like that was always...
No, the SJWs took care of the ghost costume about 2 years ago. They're not letting that shit fly.
That makes sense.
No, but witches, it's classic. You can go...
I definitely remember one year my sister was a witch.
And
that's what Ellie wanted to be as a backup, was a witch.
Yeah, you could go as cute as like Ellie and just like a little hat and a wig. Or you could go as ugly with like a nose
and moles growing out, hair growing out of moles.
Right, and then you could put some dry ice in like a bucket and have like a like a little cauldron and have it like bubbling out. Like
pull out a natty light from there.
That's right, for Dad.
Hell yeah, that's my kind of witch.
Got a bar cart going on. But no, I mean, so that's a cute little fun list that I found that I thought would be cool to include.
That was cute.
It's so cute.
That was just too cute.
So that does it for the news desk, and that brings us to our first Mount Rushmore segment of the night, which is our all-time favorite / scariest horror villains from horror movies from our childhood and just of all time. So I'm going to let you start, and we'll kind of go back and forth.
Back and forth?
Yep.
Okay. And I did a little side note with mine, so I'll let you know how many movies they were in. I thought that'd be a special little treat for you, because all of mine are like just like the generic heavyweight. So first one for me is Mike Myers. I feel like he's like the OG boogeyman. The first one on film to basically just stalk kids, and like that relentless stalk that he would always do, which gives you a little fleeting hope that maybe you can get away from him. And then that just music comes in, and he's just like slowly pacing behind you, like never giving up.
Don't you just feel like he's a little bit of a dum-dum, though?
He's absolutely a dum-dum.
Like he could just outsmart.
Oh, he has mental issues.
Like he's a frittata. Like you could just like outsmart him.
Like he would probably have a riveting conversation with Forrest Gump and have his mind blown by something from Forrest.
For sure.
But I still don't want to fuck with him. He will kill you and anyone in sight. But 11 movies total. That includes the remakes that Rob Zombie's made, which were decent remakes. And there's actually 2 more to come. When I was looking this up, it shows like 2 of them are in the works right now. So they're already being probably, maybe got shut down with all this shit this year, but in the works. So coming up on 13 Halloween movies, and all these movies have like a simple formula on my list, like the Boogeyman basically, and you'll notice that they will milk that dry and squeeze every dollar they can out of these ideas. So that one's got 13 movies coming up total by the end of like next year. It'll be 13.
That's a, typical Hollywood MO.
Oh yeah.
MO.
Milk, and then once you're done making sequels, you make a reboot.
Or prequel.
Yeah, or the prequel. I like prequels if they can be made right. But yeah, you got sequels, prequels, reboots, trilogies, franchises.
Collabs.
Just making money. Yeah, a crossover.
Yep.
They did a crossover with, wasn't it Freddy versus Jason?
Yep.
Alien versus Predator.
Yep.
Oh man, I should have put the Xenomorph on here. I didn't even think about that from Alien. I love those
Well,
movies.
at the end we can talk about stuff that didn't make it.
Yeah, because I literally just thought of that.
My first one is, and we just talked about it, Ghostface from Scream. And my list is kind of based on what kind of scared me,
Yeah.
as a younger, or kid or a younger person. But just the idea, it's just that mask was super scary when it first came out, and he wasn't going to let you get away. I mean, you really had to fight and scrap if you wanted to get away.
Yeah, because those killers were more athletic and young.
Yeah.
They were youthful.
Yeah, and it was just a knife and a voice changer and a telephone, and It was pure terror. If you haven't gone back, go back to last week's episode and listen to. We reviewed Scream 1, the first Scream in 1996, and we had a good time with that. But yeah, Ghostface from Scream, he always scared me. I think 96, I was like 10 years old, so when that came out, it scared me.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your next one?
Next one is Jason Voorhees, the Friday the 13th killer, who, we learned from the Scream 1 originally, the first killer in Friday the 13th, that was Jason's mom.
Yep. That was his mom.
Trick question for Drew Barrymore. So I put that you learned from his mama how to kill them teens, and boy did he hone his craft. By the end of it, he's killing fuckers in space. At one point, they run out of ideas on Earth, so they go to space.
Yeah, I
remember there's one
about milking it dry.
Yeah, literally milking it dry. Hey, let's cryogenically freeze Jason. Hear me out. And we go to space. Hear me out. For some reason, they were taking Jason to whatever planet, this serial killer of Earth, and he breaks free. So they milked that dry to the tune of 12 movies. And they didn't say anything was upcoming, but they made those movies quick, too, because I think that was like early 80s up until the last one came out. It had to have been over 10 years ago.
Jeez.
Right around 10 years. So within 30 years, they made like 12 of these.
That's crazy. But hey, make that
money. And like you said, simple concept like hockey mask. And I picture him with like a machete.
Yeah.
He's always carrying like that machete. But Jason would be like built like fucking Herschel Walker.
He's like a brute.
Yeah, that guy is an absolute unit. I feel like Mike Myers is more like you said, like a bumbling. I can probably maybe get away. I would not want to fuck with Jason. I feel like he there's scenes in movies where I think he just like rips people in half.
Yeah.
Because after the 8th movie, you got to get more creative. So he's always just like the most. They had really cool kill scenes in those movies.
I can't remember which one it is, but like he took like a T-post that would be like you'd wrap, like make like barbed wire fences out of, and these two kids were having sex in a tent, and he just like took that rebar or that post and like stabbed it through the tent and like skewered both kids with it. Like he would break you in half.
I think Kevin Bacon was in one of those, and he got one through the neck, like laying in his bunk bed, and he did the same thing, like skewered him like through the bed, and it went up through his neck, and seeing that poke out, yeah. So Jason would get creative. So props to Jason for his creativity.
No, he was always super scary. The scariest dude in a hockey mask. A close second would be Casey Jones from Ninja Turtles. That dude was a badass.
That'd be a good battle, but he would lose.
Yeah, he would. But he had a hockey mask. And he was badass. So my second one is Pinhead from Hellraiser.
To this day, Pinhead scares me.
I remember.
So that's a good pick.
I remember seeing it in the movie, like we talked about movie.
You saw that in theaters?
No.
The
video
cover.
I remember seeing it and just having to walk. Like I would side eye it and just keep walking. I couldn't even look at it.
Because he's terrifying.
He's
jumping out of a nightmare.
Coming out of his head, all over his head and face. So, yeah.
He's a walking nightmare.
Yeah. So he always scared me. Just things that nightmares are made out of.
That would be one where I would actually like watch that again on Halloween night, because I probably wouldn't watch any of these Jason movies, or I wouldn't watch a whatever, but I would rewatch a Pinhead.
Well, there you go.
Hellraiser.
There you go.
Yep.
May have given you some material for Halloween night.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your third?
Next one, again, another classic, Wes Craven creation, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, dude.
He had a crazy backstory. One of them, they explained it, where he was like the janitor at this school, and I think there was a fire in the boiler room, and after he'd been killing these kids, and so he came back to like, maybe the kids started the fire. I don't know. I probably should have done research before I started on this story. But there is a backstory to him, and that's why he haunts these people in these towns. And so he is dead. He's like a spirit, and he gets you in your dreams. And that is, to me, the most diabolical thing. to not even let someone have peace and quiet in their own sleep. And, that's where he gets you. So we had to talk before. How would you get away from him?
You would just smoke some meth.
You would have to go on a meth bender.
And just stay up for
You would just go to just get an RV and travel around, do as much meth as you can.
By the second week, you just gotta. All right, dude.
You gotta hope he gives up. Yeah, you gotta hope he gives up.
He just loses interest.
You gotta hope he loses interest, or else he will fucking kill you in your sleep.
It would just be a lot of cocaine and a lot of meth.
And if you die, you die a fucking legend.
At least I'm dying of an overdose and not burning in hell.
Imagine seeing that crackhead on the side of the street trying to fight off an invisible Freddy Krueger, and you're like, God damn, that guy hasn't slept in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. See, I just think you just do a bunch of meth.
You would have to. That's the best option, is a ton of drugs.
Drugs aren't always the option. They're not always
in
the
this
answer,
case,
but sometimes they are.
I 100% endorse drug abuse. If you're being chased by Freddy Krueger, that is the only way to escape. Is so many drugs that he just loses interest, or he takes pity on you. So good luck with that. Good luck escaping that asshole with razor claws.
So my third one is...
Oh, sorry, real quick.
Go ahead. How many movies?
9 movies. Again, milking it.
And what was that guy's name?
Robert Englund. But it's spelt with like
Engulnd.
Yeah, with a England. I don't know.
And he's ugly. He's an ugly
he is not a handsome person. So putting on that little bit of makeup it took. That was like an hour in the makeup
chair. Was it
chair.
Makeup?
Yeah, right.
They just slap a striped sweater on him and have at it.
And claws, and it's like, I'm ready to go.
Okay, so 9 movies. They got their worth. They got their money's worth out of that one.
Yep.
Going back to Ghostface from Scream, I think they made 5 and a TV series.
Yeah.
I think there was Hellraiser, maybe 2 and 3, maybe.
I think they made 3 of those. Okay, I believe
that's
so.
What I was thinking. And then my third one's Pennywise the Clown, but I specified the original Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. I like how you specified Tim Curry.
Because, dude,
he's a creepy fucking looking guy.
He is. And
he played that character very well.
What the new dude is Swedish?
Yeah.
The scariest thing about Sweden is having to walk through IKEA. Swedish people are not scary. I'm sorry. It just didn't do it for me. But Tim Curry,
terrifying.
And
the fact that we saw that when we were younger, more impressionable, terrifying. Yep.
And really, even the character in the book was super scary.
Yeah.
That was kind of the first time I could realize you could get scared by words. Not just seeing something or hearing something. I read
a ton of Stephen King's my favorite author. I read that book a couple years ago, right before the movie came out, and yeah, probably
because you can paint, it in your mind, and that was one of the first books I realized you could read.
It helps you. It makes you use your imagination to really visualize the story.
Yep.
And and back on that book, I just love the history it always gives, because half of it was the history of dairy, and talking about it, how it would come every 27 years, and it came from back in basically when it was still the old world, the 1600s, and he's some demigod on this planet. So it had a really cool origin story. If you were going to read the book, it would be worth it.
Yep. So yeah, Pennywise. So we obviously know we have the old movies, and we've got 2 new ones, so that's 3 total. What's your last one?
Last one for me would be Hannibal Lecter.
That's a very good one.
Yeah, I put he's a smart killer with good taste, if you know what I mean.
Chianti and fava beans.
Yeah, and probably the best, great casting for that too. Anthony Hopkins, he killed it in that role. Oh, he did. Literally.
And Jodie Foster is the FBI agent.
Yep, and even before that, because the first one was a Manhunter. That was based on the books. Mm-hmm. The books, they're all based on books. I believe it's Tom Harris. And it's Red Dragon is the first one. Because, Silence of the Lambs is actually the second. But that was the most popular one. But there was a movie from 86 with Michael Mann directing it called Manhunter. Again, that was... And then they remade it with Edward Norton. But just a cold-blooded, this man has no empathy for anybody. He'll kill family, men, women, and children and eat you. And even when he gets caught, that scene where they're wheeling him out and he's strapped in, and they have to put him in a cage. They put him in a big cage, and somehow he gets out. And I just remember him attacking that guard and going straight for the face, and just biting his nose off and just basically eating him right there. And I probably saw that when I was too young to see that, and I'm just blown away that this guy would just somebody would be that fucking crazy that just go straight for the face and just start munching on them.
Yep.
You know, that was terrifying to me. So Hannibal Lecter, and he's like a diabolical genius.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what's scary.
Yeah, he's like he is a
you.
genius. He was outsmarting like FBI specialty, and then when they brought him in to help find the killer because they had to think like him, and then later on he escapes, and he could be anywhere in the world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was always cool to me, like the smart killer.
That was a very good one. I like that one.
Thank you. And
list. 5
movies and a TV show.
Yep. So my last one is a wild card. And a lot of people wouldn't classify it as a horror movie, and it may not be, but the shark from Jaws always just scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. They did a great job building it up too, because you don't see that shark until like damn near the end.
And you got to think when the movie was made, how real they made it look. And that was Spielberg. Yeah. That was Spielberg. You know,
that animatronic shark looked real as hell.
Yeah, you know, he's ripping boats in half and all that, but he terrorized an entire town.
And sorry, but if you put it in that premise, how he terrorizes an entire town and eats and kills, that's a horror movie villain. Yeah, that's a villain.
And not only killed the town, like in terms of like actually physically killing people, but you got to think like it probably killed tourism for that town.
Yeah, I think there's a scene where the mayor's like, "We have to open up. It's 4th of July weekend. This is our biggest weekend." And the guy's like, "There's a killer shark on the loose," and he's like, "I don't care. We got to get these tourists in."
Yep. So, do you have honorable mention for this one?
Yeah. You want me to go just all mine real quick?
Yeah, we'll just bust through them.
All zombies.
Yeah.
Every fucking zombie. Zombies scared the shit out of me growing up. I remember I would think like how close a cemetery is to my house, and at the pace they would walk, how long I would have. Because you assume a zombie uprising occurs at like the stroke of midnight.
Sure.
On like a full moon night with like foggy everywhere. Yeah, and that hand comes up. So I would like anywhere I was at, like I would think, where's the nearest cemetery? Where's my exit doors? Number 2, you could say Leatherface and that whole damn family.
Yeah.
Just a whole psychopathic. Because it's not just Leatherface. It's like the whole family is like cannibals that lure them in, trap them in the house, and they just let him do the dirty work. And
shout out to the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Jessica Biel's boobs.
Oh, they were bouncing everywhere.
Fantastic.
And anytime you get chased, I'm watching.
That I said last episode that Rose McGowan were the official tits.
Oh no, you changed it.
No. They're still, until we watch something or I see something and I make the announcement. Rose McGowan is on the power rankings number 1.
Okay.
Jessica Biel from that movie maybe number 2, but no, I just had to point him out because I'm a boy. I'm a small boy mentally.
Note taken. And the last one for me is the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, yeah.
Tales from the Crypt, where he would always, he'd be like locked in his casket, and at the very end he'd stick up, scare the shit out of me every time.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. At the end, he would always pop up and laugh. But that was something like growing up. We would watch that with my grandparents, and I would be like elementary age, and specifically my grandpa, the only one I had, would make me and my sister watch that, and he would always say how the Crypt Keeper was his girlfriend, and he's got a crush on her and all this, and we would watch that and those movies, Critters. I don't know if you remember that. Those little ugly bastards that could join up and form like a ball, and they terrorize the city. So we would watch Tales from the Crypt and Critters and Tremors. Actually, those 3 movies all the time specifically with my grandpa. So those
grandpa's badass.
Instead of watching like anything that you would show a child, that's what we would watch from a very early age. So I think that's what kind of sparked my love for horror movies, because that's just what I grew up watching with them.
Yeah, no, cool grandpa. Mine, real quick, I couldn't find a name for him, but The Creatures from a Quiet Place with John Krasinski.
Yeah.
That premise of having to be quiet, and especially with like a kid.
Yeah.
Like, how would I do that?
Because one little slip up and you're fucking dead, basically.
And we talked either last week or the week before about how I'm a Walking Dead fan, and throughout the 10 seasons there have been babies born, and like how do you navigate that? Like, you remember when our kids were little, like when they would cry and they're hungry or
all the
whatever.
time.
Just trying to navigate a zombie apocalypse or in a situation like from a quiet place, and then
might as well be a beacon, or like a blowhorn going off,
Yep.
Siren blaring in town.
My second one was Candyman. I just remember that scene with the bees
out of his mouth.
Yeah,
that was terrifying.
And then you said Jordan Peele was doing.
I'm pretty sure I heard that he's connected. I don't think he's directing, but I think he's a producer.
If he's got his hands on it in any way, it's going to be amazing.
I'm 99% sure I heard. I read that.
And then the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. Like when you finally see the face, and
it he has like something that expands, right? It
and he's got those big wings.
Yeah, and his wings.
Yeah, that was scary.
That first one was really good. Actually,
I saw that in the movie theater by myself.
Like no one else there, or just Matt and just strangers.
Yeah, just me and my dad and sister went to go see. What was that Western movie with like Kevin Costner in it, like Open Country or something like that?
Open Range.
Yeah,
that's a really good movie.
Yeah, they went and saw that, and I was like, I'm gonna go see Jeepers Creepers by myself. I had popcorn, Dr. Pepper, Twizzlers, and Junior Mints, and I was just watching Jeepers Creepers, and it was really good. I mean,
it is a good movie.
He was scary.
I would
he was scary.
Recommend that.
It had Justin Long in it, and then my last one was the Leprechaun from Leprechaun. Like we would watch those. Me and my brother and my sister would watch those. I remember like my parents are divorced, so like every other weekend we'd go to my dad's and we'd hit up Astro Video.
Shout out.
And we would always get Leprechaun, even though we would never hardly finish it, and we were always so scared. We would always get
too scared to finish it, but you kept renting it.
Dude, it was, I don't know why, but he was always scary. But then there's like other things that didn't make it, like and there wasn't really a bad guy, but some of this like still to this day, and it's very relevant now. But the scariest movie I've ever seen is Contagion.
Yeah, that's where it's just real life terror. Like there's no boogeyman coming. There's just something out of your hands and it's affecting the world.
Yeah, that was just it, and that's why at the beginning of all this, like that was like.
I wouldn't even want to watch that. I was reading The Stand, the Stephen King book, which is like 1,300 pages. I was on page like 850 something when all this went down. I said, nope, I'm not going to finish that book right now. It's too real for me. I can't live through this and read this book. So I was like 2/3 of the way done with this book. Huge commitment, and I'll finish it later. Yeah. I'm not going to finish that book right now. I can't. My little heart can't take it right now. Let's just get through this.
And there's other things that didn't make it.
I got one since we're talking about something that was and again it's a Stephen King book that they made into a movie and a series, but the movie was really good, was The Mist.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not the creatures outside, it's when you're trapped inside, and that like social democracy breaks down. Everyone's turning against each other. It's I don't trust you, you don't trust me, we're trapped in here. And like there's like a wedge of people, and it just divides them, and and it's the fear of the unknown that drives these people crazy. And that ending, bro. You remember what I'm talking about? When he has like 6 bullets left, and there's 5 of them in the car, and one of them's a little boy. Spoiler alert! And he's like, he could hear the creatures coming, so he just takes his time and shoots every one of them. No more bullets for him. He tries, and he can't do it. And it turns out through the mist, you see it. There's no more creatures coming. It's basically the U.S. Army coming to rescue everyone. And he just massacred everyone in this car, including his little boy. After they made it through this, made it out, and we're like, this was their last ditch effort. And then if he had just waited like 2 more minutes, they would have been rescued. But he thought, I'm not going to let my kid die from these creatures, so let me go ahead and just kill everybody. And everyone agreed, like they knew that was coming. And you just hear the pop, 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 pop. And he's just screaming because he just killed his fucking kid.
I'd have to go lay down in front of one of those tanks.
Dude, I was like, when I saw that, and I saw that when I was working at the theater in Lancaster, I wasn't even dating Claire at the time. It was so long ago. I wasn't thinking kids. I mean, that movie just gutted me, dude. I felt so bad. And I was like, that was one of the most fucked up, brilliant endings I've ever seen. I might have to rewatch The Mist because that's a great movie.
Another one, I think we talked about off air last week when we were getting ready for this. The Strangers. Yeah,
that's just how fucked up and real it could be, because you can just be terrorized by strangers for no reason. There's no reason why those people were there, if I remember right. Didn't they say like, because she asked like, why are you doing this? And I think their response was because you were home. Yeah. And it's like when they say that line, it's like you get fucking goosebumps. Oh, Jesus. It's like, oh my god, I'm home right now. I'm not gonna be a victim.
I have a home.
Yeah, I'm home right now. You're looking out your windows. It's like the premise was, again, so simple but terrifying.
And there's other stuff, there's other ones that didn't make it.
I just love horror movies. I'm glad we agreed on this.
I like good ones. I don't like...
Well, yeah, I like good food. I don't like shitty food. I like good music.
Well, some people watch horror movies just because it's horror.
Just because it's a Halloween and it's horror.
No, I want to watch...
I know what you mean. It's got to be like a legit movie. Like you
Yeah.
say, like if Jordan Peele put a new movie, I was like, I'm gonna watch that this Halloween season.
And to me, his movies, they're not big boogeymen.
Yeah.
It's really scary, and it doesn't have to be Michael Myers or Jason or Freddy.
It's more psychological.
Yeah, I like that. Or Contagion, something that could really happen.
I really think Contagion would be the scariest movie to watch right now.
It is like that. It was always the scariest movie. Like when people would ask me, "What's your favorite scary movie?" I'd be like, "It's Contagion." They're like, "Well, that's not a scary movie." I'm like,
yeah, it is.
Well, it fucking is because look at us now. I mean,
Remember,
thankfully, it wasn't. It didn't get to that. It was nowhere near that.
Yeah,
level.
it didn't have because in that one, it's like it's same thing with The Stand. The death rate was like ridiculously high in those movies, where it's like, if you get it, you're dead. Remember Outbreak too? That was good. Yeah. I think that was like the first, like movie like that with like an outbreak of a disease that terrified me too.
So, but we are going to give a bonus Mount Rushmore, and this one's more lighthearted. This is our favorite Halloween candy.
And just to say, this is candy that you would get from trick or treating. It's not my favorite candy. Like if I'm at if I'm at a checkout line, I'm not picking up because I love Mr. Good Bars and Paydays would be my top two. You don't get that when you go trick or treating, or you did when I was a kid. Yep. So it's like when you get home, you're 12 years old, and you dump your candy on the floor, and you kind of separate. Like this is what I'm going to eat tonight. Yep. This is what I'm going to hide. And this is what my dad can have with his dad tags, or my mom. So that's what it is. Because I'm going to lift some, and you're like, what? Why is that on here? Because that was realistically what I would get.
No, and I'll go first this time, and this is probably my favorite candy of all time anyway. Mm-hmm. But it's the Reese's Peanut Butter Pumpkins. Yeah. I don't know why, but they taste better than just the regular cups.
It's like they have more.
They've got more peanut butter.
It's more peanut butter, yeah.
They're I go crazy this time of year because I'm getting all of them.
Oh, November 1st and 2nd. Same thing with Snickers because they're like creamier when they do the Halloween ones, like the pumpkin. Yeah, they're like normally $1.50, 2 for $1. Let's go.
Well, I think they're fresher because they're making them. They're not making.
Yeah, they make them for this season, so they have to put them out.
So that's
a great one.
That's still my favorite. I buy them just at the store, like when we go.
You can find them at a gas station.
I'll grab a little bag and I'll snack on them throughout the week. They're my favorite all time, hands down. So, what's yours?
Kind of like yours. It's the rich candy. It's the pumpkin-shaped Snickers. Yeah. So it's the same premise where it's the seasonal one. It's just creamier. It's better. I don't know. Snickers. Can't go wrong with Snickers or Reese's.
Nope. So
I feel like if I was gonna have either one, so when you said Reese's, I had them both written down, so I just went Snickers because it could have been either. Yeah. Obviously, that's like the top two.
My second one is Runts.
Yeah.
Because I would always get Runts in there, and I would pull them all together and dump them out into like my hand or like off to the side, and I would separate all the banana and I would eat all the banana.
Oh my god! I was gonna say, did you throw the banana ones away?
The banana ones are the best.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. I wish we had more fan involvement, listener involvement, because I could put out a poll and I guarantee you everybody would say the bananas.
100%. You think 100% of people would agree with you on this?
Maybe not 100 because people just like
so
to
we would
spiteful.
At least be split. No, they would be honest.
No.
We would be lucky to get a 50-50 split. I think you would be trounced in this.
I was going to say, bring Claire in here right
You're looking
now.
around like we have a live audience.
Bring Claire in here right
Claire
now.
likes candy corn. You can't trust her opinion.
We
asked her the question.
Yeah,
we asked her the question, and Matt went, "What? Candy?" He's like, "Get out of here."
She said candy corn.
Without hesitation.
Nobody likes candy corn.
Without hesitation. I can go get you a bag. We have the candy we have right now. This is how old we are. We have candy corn and we have Werther's.
Werther's are the shit.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's the two candies we have right now. Like we are 32 going on 73. We have Werther's and candy corn in our little cabinet right there. But I do love
this. Is the same chick that likes Miracle Whip on her tacos.
No.
So, but no, the banana ones are the shit.
Okay.
Just start polling people, and we'll call me at the end of the weekend, or
we'll start a group text with like 20 people.
We'll ask the league.
Okay, that's a good spot. That's okay. With us excluded, that's a good 10-person poll.
Yes. Okay. Give me your second one.
Second one for me, again, people might think I'm weird. I might be alone here, but I really like Almond Joys.
No, they're money, dude.
I love the coconut shaving mixed with the almond in there. And then what's the other one? That's like the red mounds. But what's that? It's not a mound nut.
No, it's just a mound of chocolate.
I was going to say, because that one's specific Almond Joy, so I know there's an almond. But yeah, Almond Joys can't go wrong. And again, that was something you would get when you dump your bag out. because I feel like people are like, oh, almond joys. What kind of freak likes that? This guy right
Anything
here.
with almonds, like right now, Lauren bought it's like one of the small bags, but it was like a Hershey variety bag, and it had Mr. Goodbar, Hershey's, and then
Clutch.
Hershey with almonds.
Clutch.
And then what's the red one? Crispin, or it's like their Crunch equivalent.
Crunch bar? Oh, is it $100,000?
No, it's like their Crunch.
It's their equivalent of Crunch.
It's got the little
with
Rice
the Rice Krispies or whatever.
But no, almond joys are
I love
very,
almond
very
joys,
good.
man. It's one of those things where like if you got someone like you're married or whatever and they don't like them, I'll claim them all.
Yeah,
Give me all your almond joys.
My third one is Nerds.
Classic.
Strawberry Nerds, grape Nerds.
I feel like I got so many cavities just from eating Nerds because you just get a handful or open the box and dump it.
I would just open the box and just dump it back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would just dump
and they would just sit there in between your teeth.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's what created cavities because they'd get lost in the little gaps of your teeth. Well, not gaps. I don't have big ass gaps in my teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like the little craters in your tooth.
Yeah, the little crevices and stuff. Yeah, they would just sit there and
sit there and rot. Yeah, so Nerds, like dentists would not recommend Nerds.
No.
My third one was another sugary one. It's Sweet Tarts.
Yeah.
I feel like Sweet Tarts, it doesn't matter the color, they're all good. You know, I like the Shock Tarts, I believe they're called, the sour ones.
Yep.
I grew up on those, man. Like that was my go-to. All the time I would go with my other grandma to rent movies, and you'd get candy. I would always rent whatever movie and get Shock Tarts. And now Claire loves Sweet Tarts. So we always have like Sweet Tarts or Shock Tarts in the house. Like when we play games and we're like drinking, you know, we'll have like our little shots out, and then it's like fruit and Shock Tarts right there. So you take a shot, pop in a Shock Tart or a Sweet Tart.
Sweet Tart, it says in the names. A little sweet, a little tart. You get a little bit of both. I like it.
It's like now and later. Great name. You can have a little now, you can have a little later.
Again, banana now and laters are the shit.
Okay, I think you just really like bananas.
I think I like imitation banana because I'm a shit pig.
Banana pudding? Hell yeah.
Banana pudding's good.
With wafers or without?
I can take it either way, but Lauren makes it with wafers.
I'm a wafer guy.
She's making fresh banana pudding for this weekend, so I'll scoop you out some before we take it.
I'm glad I brought that up on a side note.
My last one, it's a classic. You can get them outside of Halloween, but Kit Kat.
Yep.
And it can, the Halloween would always be 2. Regular one's 4 sticks, and then in the Halloween bags, you would always get the 2 stick. But I just love them. I love Kit Kats.
Oh,
do you break it?
Of course.
Okay.
You don't eat the whole thing like a monster,
Some freaks just take a bite out of it.
What the fuck?
Dude, there's a whole Reddit on it.
Yeah, they probably have...
Subreddit, I should say.
They have skeletons, like, buried in their yard, too.
Yeah, they have people in their basement.
Nah, that's a psychopathic trait to just eat it like that.
Yes, I'd break it.
If I saw someone do that, I would look like I just saw them, like, eat brains or something. I would give them the look of just absolute confusion.
At the weirdest, I'll break it in half and just, I'll eat 2 at a time.
Yeah, but you're not taking a bar of 4 to where it's like you're eating a flute.
Yes.
Or a pan flute. You're just munching into it. No, that's
people
psycho.
do that. People do that. You can Google it and it's out there.
You can Google it.
It's a real thing. What's your last one?
Last one for me is just M&M's, all kinds.
Okay.
You can get the classic. I love peanut. We recently got the brownie filled ones.
Are they good?
They're very good. Peanut butter, hazelnut, pretzel. I'm a fat kid that loves M&M's. Yep. So any kind of M&M, you get the assorted pack. They color code it. And all of them are clutch.
My honorable mention are Blow Pops or Tootsie Pops, either one.
Yeah, that's on mine. So I'll just go ahead and say I have Tootsie Roll Lollipop.
Yeah, suckers are clutch. Airheads and peanut M&M's.
There you go.
You can substitute any like I'm like you.
Any M&M is solid.
I'm good.
And since I had the Tootsie Roll, my other last honorable mention is Milk Duds. That's another like good one to get at a movie theater too.
So speaking of Milk Duds and M&M's, I don't know if it's a northern thing or what, but there is a phenomenon where people get popcorn at a movie theater, and they'll get M&M's or Milk Duds, and they'll pour it in their popcorn and shake it down.
Let it melt a little?
Yeah. So they get like they get like a bite of like buttery, salty popcorn and like an M&M.
That sounds like a Colorado thing where they have some legalized weed. That's just, it sounds good. It sounds messy, and I worked at a movie theater, and we would have people do that. We would have people layer it with ketchup. They'd want you to give you some, give it back to them so they could pump in ketchup a little bit more. Oh, weird stuff, yeah.
What the hell?
I get the butter, but yeah, we'd have people putting in weird stuff. So I could see that.
You know where those people are now? They're
taking
now,
bites out of Kit Kats like psychos.
They're in Al Qaeda. That's where they're at. That's where they're at now.
I should have reported them. I knew something was up.
All right. So that takes us to our next segment, which is our Pick Your Poison segment, and then just like our Mount Rushmore, we're gonna do we're gonna double dip. We're gonna give you two pick your poison scenarios. So the first one is what horror villain would you want to be stalked by? You want to take that one first?
Yeah, mine first. I would want to be stalked by Michael Myers. Like we said before, he's big, he's a little dumb, and I justified it because he usually only goes after family. It's real personal with him, and I would be like I would be trying to smooth talk him the whole time, like a used car salesman. And if he spared my life, I will gladly help you kill whoever the fuck we're trying to kill. Just don't kill me.
You don't like your sister? I don't like the bitch.
Yeah, that bitch never smiled to me or anything. So I would absolutely I will help you out. I'll drive you. We don't have to do all that slow walking. We can fucking hop in the truck
and take the load off.
Yeah, we can drive through, get some food, carb up, and we'll just go kill more people. But I would weasel my way out of
Come on, let's go get some pasta. We'll get our carbo load on,
and then we got to take a little nap because we had a little too much pasta. Yeah. We just kind of become friends.
Or you could just pull out your keys and just something shiny and just distract him.
Yeah, because he is dumb. I think we've established that he has the mental capacity though, because in those movies he killed his sister when he was like 10, so he's been locked up. So I doubt he got a great education. I think he has the education of like a 4th grader. So I would manipulate him.
Be like, hey man,
just weasel my way out.
Have you ever heard of Pokemon? Check this shit out.
Just introduce him to the internet. Hey, you want to see titties? I'm sure you do. Do.
Okay,
he's done.
I'm with you.
So I just outsmarted Michael Myers.
Could have ended those movies in one.
Who needed 11 movies and two upcoming? I just solved it.
But hey, Jamie Lee Curtis, wouldn't have got her start without it. So there you go. Mine would be Chucky from Child's Play.
Smart.
Because I would just drop kick that motherfucker.
Yeah, I was going to say he's at knee level, so that's actually...
just punt him. I would pick him up, and I would punt him like...
Yeah, you played soccer, too, so that's a powerful leg.
I would punt him like Matt McGuire. There's your obscure cowboy reference for the night.
Yeah.
I would, seriously, why was this a thing?
They made a remake, too, with Audrey Plaza as the mom, so it's, recent, too, so they're still trying to pump these movies out.
Have you seen The Fappening? Did you see her?
You told me about it, because didn't you have a crush on her until then?
Until I saw it.
It's gotta be... Is it that bad?
It's like Baghdad down there.
Golly, that's a brutal description.
It is not good.
It's like you don't even want to look it up to confirm. It's like, I don't even want to think about it.
I never want to see it again.
That sucks, because she's pretty and she seems really cool.
She's like that weird, cool type.
Yeah.
I could drop a name on... I won't drop the name on here, but she's just like somebody we both know, I think.
Oh, yeah?
I'll drop a name after we cut it, and you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But no, it's a war zone.
That bad.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Did you see Hope Solo? Did you see hers?
Oh, I was thinking Han Solo. I was like, what the fuck? She dropped a bush in that?
Hope.
I've heard it's like an Arby's roast beef sandwich.
Yeah. Jeremy Stevens did work down there. Just left it just... yeah, they're the same.
Okay, well...
No.
That took a dark turn.
Yeah, we're back on topic. But yeah, I would...
Yeah, how did it get here? We're talking about...
Because you brought up how
in that movie.
She did the remake, so it's your fault.
Well, I think she kept her pants on, though. I haven't seen it yet.
Thank God. No, but I just don't see how anybody is scared of Chucky. Just punt it.
It's scary when you're a kid. So watch this. But as an adult, you're right. Use that logic. I'm an adult and you're a 2-foot...
you're 18
doll.
Inches tall.
Yeah, you're an 18-inch doll.
I would punch you into next week.
You could get a driving iron, and put in some work too.
On a good day, I could hit him probably 300. 350 with the roll.
Should get the cricket paddle. That might be more useful. That would be like a solid, base. I'm doing the measurements here. It's 4 inches by a 12-inch paddle. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, but that would be mine. Easy
Again,
peasy.
Using logic. I like where your head's at. I think we could take both these guys down.
Easy
I'm actually taking a risk. I'm hoping I could smooth talk my guy. You can actually beat the shit out of Chucky, I think. I think you would win that battle hands down.
I'm not fucking around with him. I'm not. Is there any one that we missed, or is there another one we would like to face off with?
No, they're psycho killers.
Did
I
you
don't
see
want to face off with
Misery?
any. Yeah,
Ah, what about
crazy
that one?
bitch. Well, am I able-bodied or am I bedridden? Because then I'm at the mercy of her. So
Dude, that scene where she puts the blocks.
yeah, I know.
Oh,
That's right. That's the first thing you
Kathy
think of.
Bates.
Yeah. So no, if I'm basically disabled and can't move, I don't want to be in that
Yeah,
situation.
if I'm able-bodied, I'm beating the shit out of her.
Yeah, I'm throwing her out the window and driving
God, I
off.
hope people listen to this with context.
I'm throwing that bitch out the window.
All right, so our second pick your poison. Would you rather live in like a poltergeist type hellscape house with like a portal to hell, or live in a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, and we want to clarify because when I told this to Claire, she immediately was like, I'm gonna live in a haunted house. She was thinking she's basically roommates with Casper, and she's gonna go on like working all the time and going on these awesome adventures. Like, no, you live in a house like in the middle of the woods and you work from home, and it's a poltergeist and there's like a gateway to hell. Because if you got to live in a zombie apocalypse, because it's pick your poison, so each one's a terrible option. So it has to be equally as terrible as living in a zombie apocalypse. So yeah, you live in the most haunted fucking house on planet Earth, like Satan lives in your basement type of thing. So put it in that context and think about it, because I have my answer, and I think we actually had agreed on it.
No, I'd live in a zombie apocalypse,
Absolutely.
hands down.
Yep.
I haven't hidden my love for The Walking Dead on here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into all things zombies, and my zombies are slow.
Oh, they have to be. There's no rage virus. That's bullshit. Zombies are slow and dumb, and
to me, those aren't zombies. Like,
they're relentless, and that's what always scared me the most about them is they don't have strength or speed, but they have strength in numbers. And it's once you watching those movies, because I watched zombies, like those were my favorite growing up, and it's the thought of like being cornered and pinned down in a house. And they're just getting overflown, and eventually they're breaking through. They're pulling down a board. Yeah, their weight's pressing the door open, and you're already upstairs. You got nowhere to go, or you're in the basement and you're trapped. And it's just you hear their moans and their groans, and there's nothing you can do. You're trapped, and you just have to like kill yourself or be eaten. And it's a slow burn, So yeah, there's no fast zombies. They're slowly getting to you, but they just have so much strength in numbers, and they're relentless as hell.
I have dreams about being in a zombie apocalypse all the time.
I
think I would thrive.
I think I would thrive.
I do.
Not to brag, I would be really good
I'd be killing it. I'd still be on season 10. I'm basically Daryl Dixon, like just less redneck.
I don't know, man.
I say that I may not make it past day 3. Like, as soon as the drive-thrus shut down, I may be fucked.
Yeah, you're more like, what was his name, T-Dog?
Yeah, that may make it into season 2. No, the thought of just everything going away, like all the debt, all the worry, all the bills, like
you'd still have a lot of worry because it would be like a fart in the middle of the night could signal.
True, but I think I've gained enough knowledge.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing about The Walking Dead is like in that world, like zombies didn't exist, so that's why it got so bad, and that why they overtook the world so quick.
Because they didn't know what to do.
They didn't know the brain.
And they don't even call them zombies; they call them walkers.
There's all kinds of names: biters, walkers.
Yeah, so there's never a zombie reference.
No, never a zombie reference.
Because, like you said, that concept is just out of this world. It's never been.
We all know what to do, and we all know to kill the brain.
Have you read that book that Mel Brooks' son? Mm-hmm. Is it Max? I think
Max Brooks.
How to Survive a Survival Guide. I actually read all that. First thing you do, like cut your hair, tight fitting clothing, knives over guns because you never got to reload them and they're not as loud. It's like you read all this, you're like, man, these are great ideas. Like I've read that book, I really feel like my life. Watching the movies, because those were my favorite growing up, and I feel like zombies like blew up in the last 10 years with Walking Dead, but growing up, it's like that's what I would always watch, and it's like I feel like I've been preparing for this my whole life.
So do I. And I was really disappointed that this apocalypse had no zombies, or this pandemic had no zombies.
It's the year's still young, man. You never know. We still got two full months.
No, I would definitely pick a zombie apocalypse. Easy. That's hands down. Because I'm not doing poltergeist. I'm not doing haunted houses. I don't even like going into Walmart past 10 because like Jesus Christ, that place is scary enough. But no, it's just that I would just want to do that. That would be fun to me.
The worst part though is just like I don't know. There could be living by yourself, having to see loved ones die from like.
Yep.
That's the hardest part, but keep on trucking, adapt, travel light.
Yep.
Find you an old established or an old prison.
Just like in the show, at some point we would conquer the zombies, or we'd be able to handle the zombies, and then it would be the biggest threats would be us, like roaming factions of just bad people.
Yeah.
The fight for resources.
That's another element that that's the whole other side of the ball. Yeah, it's like, water, nutrients, the food, that's like your currency.
And people,
ammo.
And people, and I don't try to convince people to watch the show anymore, but they were like, it's just a zombie show. Like, how good could it be? I'm like, well, you have all these other elements. Like,
yeah, that's half the show is the human element. Yeah, that's half the show, really.
And then, there's a great line from the comic, and they didn't do it as well in the show, but there's a line where Rick, the main character, says, hey, we are the Walking Dead, and then eventually you become, what you're running from.
Yeah, that's your whole world,
but yeah, I'd pick a zombie apocalypse, hands down.
Me too.
I would love it.
I think we'd pair up pretty nice.
Yeah, we'd make a good team.
I got knives hidden everywhere, machetes in the bathroom, just duct tape it to a bat. Oh, yeah.
Well, y'all can't see, but I just
I got like trench knives, like
like a bayonet.
It's a bayonet, but it has a brass knuckle attachment with the skull crusher on the bottom.
Yeah,
I got a couple of those hidden around in our room. I got 2 bats located at the doors, machete in the bathroom.
There you go.
Got a spring assisted blade in the kitchen pantry up here.
That'll work.
Yeah. Put some nails through that bitch.
All right, so we're not gonna do 60 Seconds on Big Brother.
It's a terrible
season.
You're disappointed. Next week's the finale coming up, so I'll at least recap it. But there's no point. No one's making big moves. No one's doing anything. I'll just say Christmas. Your stripper got evicted.
She can go back to the strip club now.
She's back on the pole. So I'll just real quick. The final 4 is now Cody, Nicole, Enzo. Oh shit! Is that it? Is it final 3? No, it can't be final 3. Who am I missing? Oh, no. Christmas isn't gone. She's going to go. She's going to get evicted this week. She has to. She's on the block with Nicole. Cody's HOH. Enzo's safe. And there's only 1 vote. So whoever gets the 1 vote is going to vote this one person out. And I jumped the gun, but I think it's going to be Christmas. So
okay.
That's literally 60 Seconds on Big Brother.
Maybe less.
Yeah.
All right. So we did do a movie watch and review. I think we alluded to it earlier. But we watched the 1991 classic.
You just got to say that line. You don't have to mean it, but
I don't mean it at all.
Was it really 1991?
Yeah, it was 91.
I felt like it was like older than that. Maybe I just rented it many times.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 91. Earnest Scared Stupid.
Title says it all.
One in the line of many great Ernest movies.
They did, because when I searched for it on Amazon Prime, you just type in Ernest. There was like 12 more. Yeah. That's why I was like, man, good for that guy, though, to make a career out of that, make some money. He probably owned a house in wherever until the day he died.
Full disclosure, I did not take any notes because I got exactly 7 minutes in and I texted Andrew. I was like, I immediately regret this decision.
Yep. I wanted Addams Family.
Yeah, I should have listened to you.
And Matt was like, no, Ernest Scared Stupid. I was like, you know what? I remember watching that growing up. All right. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty bad.
I was totally wrong. And you should have rubbed my nose in it like during the text. But it was.
I hadn't watched it yet though. I watched it today.
It was so bad.
It was bad. When the best character is probably the dog, Rimshot. That tells you a lot.
Rimshot was good.
I love that dog.
I'll just get some fun facts out of the way because that's all I have to contribute. So the dog Rimshot, I did the same thing you did. I was like, that's Wishbone.
I 100% thought that was Wishbone.
But I got on there. That's not Wishbone. Rimshot from the movie was played by a dog named Barkley.
Great name.
And he went on to star in a couple other movies, but
went on to star. He peaked better than I did in life, man.
He did, man. Speaking of dogs peaking better than me, I watched Steve-O's podcast today, and Steve-O
from Jackass?
Yeah, he's got a podcast, and he had on one of my favorite podcasters / comedians, Brendan Schaub. But he's got his dog with him. So what Steve-O does is he has a van / it's not an RV, but it's like a big like Sprinter van that he's converted into a mobile studio.
That's
so
cool.
He doesn't have one location where he's got to fly guests.
He goes to you.
He goes to you, yeah.
That's awesome.
And
Smart.
And he, I saw this on Facebook or Twitter or something a couple years ago, but he actually rescued a dog on the streets of Peru. He rescued a dog while he was there in Peru, and it told the whole story how he found the dog. Excuse me, and he rescued the dog, and he had all the trials and tribulations of trying to get the dog back into the States. But anyway, her name is Wendy, and she's on every one of the podcasts right there on camera. But he said she's got an Instagram account with 300,000 followers.
Golly.
A dog.
That dog's
named Wendy.
That dog's a real influencer.
So, but yeah, so the dog, Rimshot, was not Wishbone. The dog from Wishbone is actually named Soccer, which that's a weird name.
Yeah.
I love Soccer, but that's a weird name for an animal. But yeah, so not it. And do you know the main girl from the movie?
Elizabeth?
Is that her name?
The little girl was. Yeah, I immediately caught that since that's my daughter's name.
Yeah, so she went on to star in 30 Rock from the Sun with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, yeah.
Really? That was a really good show, too.
My
mom used to always watch it. I think I didn't get it back in the day because it had not John Lovitz.
No, John Lithgow.
John Lithgow. Yeah, who's a really good actor.
Yeah.
And it's like watching that, like I feel like that was one of those really smart shows that like probably went over my head as a kid. Even though they're like aliens or whatever, like it's like good comedy.
It's very good.
It's good comedy that I feel like if I watched now,
I would appreciate
it more. But yeah, I had no idea. That's cool.
Yeah,
you really did some research on it.
Yeah,
because you were probably like, "Fuck this movie. Let me just research."
I was on my phone, half paying attention. Lauren's like, "What are you doing? Shouldn't you be taking notes?" I'm like, "Look, I'm taking my notes, okay, mentally." And then I think that's all I really had.
That's it.
That movie made $14 million.
That's impressive.
In 91.
That's impressive. That's inflation. That's probably 25.
Maybe more.
And you know it cost them like $36,000 to make it.
I think it cost them like $4 or $6 million to make. I looked it up. But good for them. Good for Jim Varney. I mean, like you said,
he
found a niche. He made him some money. And I looked it up. He died 20 years ago, which is crazy.
It doesn't feel like that long because I remember when he cancer, right?
Liver cancer, yeah.
So I remember when that happened because we were still young enough. But yeah, I would have never guessed 20 years.
Because Lauren said he's dead, right? And I'm like, yeah, he only died a few years ago. And then I looked up, it's 2000. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, 2008 doesn't seem like 12 years ago to me. So
true.
Shit just flies when you get older.
So what do you want to talk about? I'll just kind of go off you because I'm. And it's one of those things like we watched 6 movies. 2 of them were good. The other 4 weren't good.
What was the other good movie? Original Mighty Ducks?
Original Mighty Ducks.
And Scream?
Okay, sorry. We watched 7 movies. 3 of them were good. Scream, Original Mighty Ducks, and Original Three Ninjas. And, the second and third Mighty Ducks weren't as bad, but it's coming off of doing Scream, and it was really good.
Which was really good.
And I took a lot of notes. And then going back to a shitty movie, I just couldn't do it. So I think our movie selections from now on have got to be, we got to step it up.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you want to be able to watch them and not cringe the whole time.
And I want to be able to contribute to this part of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, what do you got?
I'll just do a few of the lines. Well, when he has to go, there's like this. He works for the sanitation department, and he gets ordered to go clean up this old creepy house. And when he gets there, he's all scared, and he knocks, and he just turns around real quick. And I just like this line. He said, "Oh, must be out robbing graves or biting the heads off of chickens," because he's done. He does not want to be there. The old lady answers.
He knocks twice, and like as soon as he gets done knocking, he's like, "What? Nobody's home."
Yeah, nobody's home. Out robbing graves or biting the head off chickens. But she's there. She is fucking crazy. Later on, when he tries to explain why there's this, he's like friends with a couple kids in towns, and they're getting bullied by these little shitheads, the Murdochs.
Yep.
God, I hated those little boys.
I wanted fat kid.
Yeah, I think his name was Matt too.
Was it?
It was Matt. They called him that one time, and I was openly hoping that the troll would take the souls of those little boys. I did not like those kids, but when he's trying to explain why they need this treehouse to get the high ground like the Ottomans did, he just goes into complete multiple personality syndrome right there.
Earnest is schizophrenic.
Yeah, like and this little boy's just kind of, and at the end the boy looks kind of scared, like this guy is a psycho. I'm sure I know how he eats his Kit Kats, just to bring that full circle. But he's got like 3 women characters. He's got like a French character. He's got like a old Southern character. He's got a guy from the army character, and he's like explaining this situation to him. It's pretty wild. Like I was already worried about Ernest at that point. But so they build this treehouse, And little do we know, that's where the troll was banished from like years ago. You know,
his great grandfather.
Yeah,
Ernest's great
his elder from like hundred plus years ago. He was banished from the town because the troll was like coming out and basically taking the souls of all the little kids. They captured them. They buried them under this tree. And after they built the treehouse, Ernest learns about the history, and he does like the one thing you're not supposed to do, and he says the magic words or whatever.
On that
breaks the curse.
night.
Yeah, he's like, as long as it's said on this night in a treehouse, just like this, and someone puts their hand right here and says these words, and he's doing everything you're not supposed to. So, old silly Ernest, you know, like breaks the spell or whatever, conjures up this troll. You finally get to see the troll, and he is fucking terrifying. I hated that. I was scared of that kid growing up. But then you learn later on, it's just like a little person in a costume, to where the head is like 80% of the costume. They made the head massive. It was like warts, and he always had a terrible runny nose. It's always like green slime.
Yeah, they made a line. Ernest had a line in the movie saying he had a bad cold or something. But
must have.
I was reading another little nugget on that movie. It almost didn't get greenlit. Because they were afraid that those trolls were too scary.
The main one for sure. Later on, where they had the final scene and they're all running around because the troll with like he needs to catch like 5 souls by like midnight on Halloween. So he has to catch these kids. And when he gets the first kid, Kenny, did you see how he got him? Like Kenny slipped in a ditch and he was like in 3 inches of water, and he's freaking out as if his neck's up in quicksand, screaming for help. Well, the troll offers help and grabs him, and that's when you see like he just kind of like grabs a hold of him, does some kind of like spell, like a ghoul flies around him, and it turns him into wood, like a wood statue. So that's when you figure out like that's what he does. He like captures the kids, basically tricks them, captures them, turns them into wood, and then takes them to like this cutout in the treehouse and like sets them out like a doll stand, and then like these like egg-shaped mutant things start to hatch on the tree, and those are like his little troll babies that the more he accumulates, more human kids, like they grow bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, you know, so now they know Ernest is trying to warn the whole town that there's this crazy troll. Of course, no one believes him because he's fucking Ernest. He's like a grown man hanging out with kids. So everyone's giving him shit. Except for Rimshot. Rimshot's got his back. That's his ride or die the whole time. Yeah. At one point, I'm so happy because the troll takes the soul of Matt Murdock, but then he gets Rimshot too. That was a bummer. But before that, we had the scene where Rimshot's driving the car, and the troll's trying to get back at him, or you know, he's like trying to get to them, and they're trying to drive away in the car, and the troll's got this rope that's attached to the truck, and he's like pulling the truck back slowly. And Ernest has the good idea to, instead of gassing it where they can't get away, to put it in reverse. Mm-hmm. And he has the great line of "Eat bumper, booger lips," and they back up and hit him. I immediately wrote that down. Like I think I remember that line. And there's some great lines which we just might get to them because, anyways, like so the kids are the only ones who believe Ernest. You know, he's trying to warn the whole town because they only have until midnight. And you would think all these kids are like, he gets like all 5 souls by the end of the night. So there's 5 kids missing, and no one still believes Ernest that something's going on. There's 5 missing children, and everyone's like, oh, Ernest, you know, you're just crazy. That crazy old lady whose house he went to early, Lady Hackmore, she's the one that's kind of telling him the history of the town. And she has this old book, and she's telling them how they can fight it. And it takes Kenny, one of the little boys, to realize that the best weapon to fight this troll is milk. So him and his homeboys like jump on their bikes and they pretty much raid the local store, like riding through their bikes, dumping all the milk cartons in their bikes, just really being little hoodlums.
They grabbed some sweet super soakers, which by the way I totally remember.
Oh yeah, loading up the milk in the super soaker.
And then me and Lauren were
looking.
We were looking at like at the grocery store, and we were like looking at all the like old school labels, and like, you remember when that looked like that, or you remember those? You know, like there was like some chips or maybe some like crackers or cookies that we saw on the shelf. Like, you remember those? So that was a cool scene. A little nostalgia.
And that's why I like reviewing these movies, because you look at shit and you're like, I totally remember like all of that. So the eggs, he gets all 5 of them. The eggs start falling off and hatching off the tree, and they spawn more trolls that are just fully clothed and have like a lot of attitude, a lot of baditude coming from these trolls. Yeah. You know, lots of baditude from like, they have like mohawks and chain links, and it's like, all right, I guess they already had like some teen angst for the trolls. So there's like this whole troll army, and I guess I wasn't watching this, but so their treehouse was like in the middle of like this creepy forest, and all of a sudden the whole town's kind of there because it takes place on Halloween, so there's like a Halloween dance going on, and everyone's in costume, but I don't know, maybe I got up to get a drink or something. Next thing I know, the whole town basically is at this treehouse, about ready to fight these trolls, and the boys roll in with their super soakers of milk because the grown-ups are trying everything. They're getting terrorized by these trolls, like they're losing the battle. Yeah, they're losing this battle until the kids in the super soakers show up. They figure it out. All you got to take is a little bit of milk, so then they just find all these creative ways. There's one time where one of the trolls is like coming up on a kid, but he's standing in front of a fan. He just takes the powdered milk and throws it in front of the fan and lets it get in his face. So they're getting all creative. It was really cheesy though, like when they would like melt and you'd see like this little crappy CGI thing like fly around them, and then it would just like Shazam, and they would be gone. But more great lines I'll just get to. Where'd I put those? Kenny, who's like the main like good guy little kid, he has the line, "Hey, butt breath." He pulls out his water pistol. "Sayonara, snotwad."
Snotwad.
I mean, how can you not like that? Ernest has the line, "Eat lactose, slime ball." So you're just getting all these one-liners. So slowly and surely, like all the trolls get like taken away, but the main troll, the one that started all this, he kind of goes down and uses like the last of his spirits to like conjure up and make himself like, I said on here, he's the boss level troll now, and milk won't work, and only the true love would like unconditional love from a child will save it. So Ernest is getting back down from this. The whole town's like, "Ernest, get him, kill him," and this troll's just getting closer and closer. And Ernest in his head is thinking like what Lady Hackmore told him, like how unconditional love of a child will do it. So he's finally like, and this troll's fucking ugly. Like it got even uglier.
Then it like grew like spider.
Yeah, it
like
got
legs,
even uglier, and like things out of
face.
its face were, he's still got that snotty nose. But Ernest realizes like he's gonna have to just love on this thing. So he's finally like, "Come here, you big old love. Give me a big old kiss." And he gives him a kiss, and he pulls back. And you got the string of slime off his lips. But that was it, man. It just took that true love. And Ernest was, saves the day. All the kids that were turned into wood come back, but Ernest is still so sad because he's like, "Well, who's gonna love me?" And then you hear it. You hear that little bark. Wishbone's in the front seat. He's back. Wishbone. Damn it, Rimshot. I swear to God, I thought that was Wishbone the whole time. I did too.
That's why it made me go look
I wrote down so many times like, "Wishbone, yeah, he's back." And then you told me this, like, "Oh, that's actually dog named Barkley."
And then old lady Hackmore, I guess those were her brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I put on here, she must be 157 years old because she's like sister so-and-so. And yeah, because you find out that Ernest's great-great-great-great-grandfather was the one that banished these trolls to begin with.
And maybe it's something we both missed in the beginning.
Well, she could just be a witch that lived to be 300.
Well, yeah. Well, that's not even the most least plausible thing in this movie. So you might be right. Anything else on Earnest Scared Stupid?
I just wrote a final review, final sentence. It was like, "Of course it aged like milk. It's Ernest." But it was the 90s, and it was something I liked growing up, and that I was able to rewatch it with my daughter because she kind of watched the last of it, and it wasn't too scary for her, and she was actually like laughing at a few scenes, like Ernest just being ridiculous, silly. He always has these, like those facial expressions and
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's stupid, but it's fucking Ernest. And I put on here, he's our American Mr. Bean. England had Mr. Bean, and he was really funny. We kind of settled for Ernest, and
maybe Mr. Bean's like retarded, like inbred cousin.
He's his inbred American cousin, absolutely.
No, Landry was watching it too, and it was so funny because that's part of the reason why I wasn't watching half of it because I was just watching him.
Yeah,
and his reaction.
I did too.
He was covering his ears, and like he was sitting in his chair, and like he was like holding his arms against his chest.
Did the troll scare him?
Yeah. No, it's not like he covered his eyes or anything, but like you could tell he didn't like when they came on. Like he did not like that at all. Yeah. So, but no, it was all good.
But it is something now. If you have kids between the ages of like 3 and 8, you could watch it with them.
You get away with it.
It's an earnest PG movie that you'll probably laugh at because you're like, "Man, I can't believe I like this as a kid. This is pretty bad," and your kid would be entertained. So that's the only time I would recommend it. If you're like single and 20 something, don't watch Ernest.
No.
You'll think we're idiots for even recommending it. But if you have a kid, you want to watch something different, you might get some good laughs out of it.
Or this might be another place where drugs are the answer. If you want to get super baked,
you
would enjoy it.
Absolutely.
You would enjoy it. But that is going to conclude the Spooktober Halloween extravaganza part of it. We are going to do some Cowboys preview and review from last week. It's going to get dark, folks. I'm glad we originally planned to record on Wednesday, and then just life happened. I'm glad we got a couple days in between because I was so hot and mad. Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm glad so I don't come in on here and sound like a complete psychopath.
Yeah, I had time to decompress.
Yeah. So yeah, if you leave us here, we appreciate you listening, but we're gonna get into some Cowboy talk now. Cowboys lose 38-10 to the Arizona Cardinals on Monday night. Yeah, it's the fifth consecutive game giving up 35 plus points. As Mike Nolan's defense continues to just be bad.
Yeah, and they showed the stat. This is his 18th season as a defensive coordinator with his 8th team. So obviously teams realize how bad he sucks, and he only lasts like a couple of years, and he's gone.
And he keeps getting jobs.
Exactly. So that when I saw, and that was early in the game, and I was like, "Yep, that tells you everything you need to know right there."
I've got a couple more stats concerning Mike Nolan. The defense has allowed 14 passing and 10 rushing touchdowns through 6 games. The last team to do that was the 2005 San Francisco 49ers defense with Mike Nolan as the DC.
Oh, wow. No surprise.
So there you go. There's that. Let's see what else. I'm just going to quick hit some stats.
Martin went down early, and that was like...
That's just the final.
Yeah, when that happened, I was like, you're going to take away our last remaining offensive lineman. So once we saw that was once he was out and they put in McGovern, that line was just 100. That was a new line right there. The only constant there was Connor Williams, and they knew he was the weak link. When we're healthy with Collins, Smith, Martin, I know Frederick is gone, but even Biotish, it's like
I think Biotish is maybe on his way to becoming a good player.
I think so.
I'm not putting him there yet, but
he's already, in my opinion, better than Looney. Like when a healthy Looney, I would rather keep Biotish at center. Maybe Looney could play guard.
Yeah, but
he's not the future. Looney's just not the future. At least give Biotish a shot because he's young enough.
Well, he'll get his shot. He's
getting trial by. He's getting thrown right in the fire. So we're gonna find out real quick, and I think he's gonna be pretty good.
And I know we like to talk about defense on here, but maybe we need to start looking at this offense because I don't know if you can have a football equivalent of the yips, but something is up with Zeke. The Cowboys are negative 12 in turnover differential. The Cardinals scored 24 points off of turnovers.
Yeah, I think we lead the league in turnover differential and points given up.
It's 14 on turnovers. Points. So every game we're starting the game down 14-0.
We're starting down, losing the turnover battles, which they turn into points.
The Cardinals scored 24
off turnovers.
Off turnovers. Yeah. This isn't this game. Look, you take those away, it's 14-10. I believe my math is right. It's 14-10.
I see the numbers popping above your head.
It's 14-10.
Yeah.
So yeah, the defense is bad, but the offense can't keep putting him in bad holes.
And we had 4 turnovers, so that's a score on every turnover. We didn't stop them once when we turned the ball up.
But in the defense started the game with 3 for sure, maybe 4
first
outs.
The first quarter was a defensive battle.
And yeah, the defense has been bad. And look, all this starts because we're hurt.
On the offensive side.
Well, a lot of it starts because we're hurt.
On what side?
On everywhere, across the board. What would happen if we had 6 games of LVE and Jalen?
I think with a healthy defense, instead of giving up 38 points a game, maybe we're giving up like 27. So we're not we're not good, but we're not historically bad.
If we're again at 27, we
could be 3-3 maybe,
or maybe 4-2.
I think. Yeah, this defense, it doesn't have a lot of talent. It does have injuries because we've lost corners, too. Jordan Lewis and Cheeto have both missed. Anthony Brown all missed multiple games. LVE,
that's what I'm saying.
Healthy LVE, like perfect world, no injury history LVE with Sean Lee. That's a great linebacker combo. And I've heard. I'm going to go off side note right here, but when Sean Lee retires, do you want him to be a defensive coordinator?
Absolutely.
Me too. Why
Or
not?
at least
Let's
get his feet wet.
start with linebacker coach. Yeah,
Let's see
but
if he can
within
do
a
that.
year or two, get him. He's a football savant. He knows what he's talking about all the time. So yeah, when I hear him talk, I'm always thinking like, please don't let him be the new coach at Penn State. Like, let him stay here. Give him a linebacker coach position right now, and say in a year or two you could be our DC.
But yeah, I just wanted to highlight the offense because now with that gone, Zeke is the feature player.
I think that's what's getting him too, is all that pressure on his back.
I'm sorry, dude.
That's why he gets paid big money, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He held out 2 years early from a contract. We still had him contractually obligated for 2 years, and he held out.
We need you to
get that
step
money.
up now.
Yeah, so we paid you then. Now's when he has to step up.
So whatever you got to do, man, call Tiki Barber. He had a case of this, and he fixed it. Whatever you got to do.
And they were saying during the game, too, like, now that this has set a precedence, he's like, those players are going for that ball.
Yeah.
Every time they go for him, they're going for that punch and that strip because it's established, like, and it's in his head now. It's meant to, like, just keep going for the ball.
Because we played 3 home games, and every home game this year, the Cowboys have trailed by 17 or more points at halftime.
It's a terrible stat. That's probably, if you looked it up, we're probably one of the only teams ever to say that.
You know, and this is just the. And now you've got this stuff this week coming out about that anonymous source saying that the coaches can't coach and they can't teach and they can't get their points across. Well, at some point, that's horseshit because 12 years ago, 15 years ago, it was, Wade Phillips can't teach. He can't coach. He's not getting his message across. So they brought in Jason Garrett. We had a decade of Garrett. You heard the same thing. Well, Jason Garrett isn't a player's coach, or what? He can't teach. He can't coach. So we get rid of him. Now we're 6 games into Mike McCarthy and Mike Nolan. Well, they can't coach. Well, maybe it's you, the players. And if Jerry has created this ecosystem and this atmosphere around the Star in Frisco where players don't have to put their names on quotes. If players want to go around the coach, they have direct lines to Jerry. That's a problem.
It starts at the top with Jerry. 100%.
This is an organization that thought Byron Jones wasn't a good investment. But they think Jalen Smith is.
Yeah, he got Byron's money.
They think Ezekiel Elliott is. And now we're debating on, should we sign Dak? Are you kidding me? Maybe if you weren't worried about selling sunglasses and you weren't selling Hot Boys merchandise, you haven't been a fucking Hot Boy in 3 years. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, and the fact that they push that so hard it's a joke because nobody on this defense is a Hot Boy.
Look, and I'm getting loud, and I don't ever get loud. And I thought I'd be cool by now, but this team is gutless. There's no fight in this team. Kenyon Drake, they were trying to kill the game, and you let him run for 69 yards.
69-yarder and then they cut to like the crying people in the stands.
And then Jalen was trotting behind the play. I'm sorry, man. I'm done with you. If I see you swipe again.
Oh, when we're down like 20 and he makes one good play.
It is unreal, man.
It's a joke. It's like Zeke finally got a first down in like the second quarter, and he did his feed me when we were already down like 2 or 3 scores. I'm like, now's not the time.
Yeah,
you need to make a big play. You need to make a game-changing play if you're going to boast like that. But and listening, because this week, too, like on sports radio, they were giving it to the Cowboys, rightfully so, too. And all the people called in would agree with us when they say the Cowboys, from Jerry Jones' point of view, is a success because it's still the number one highest valued franchise. They're still number one in TV ratings. They're number one in merchandise sales. It's a business to him. It's not like me and you where we live and die and sometimes cry at the end of these games.
But sometimes,
get frustrated.
Tells me that
he's not getting as worked up as we are because he's going to say there's 20 million people watch that game.
But something tells me that surely Jerry's, because he has other businesses other than the Cowboys, they're not as poorly ran as this. This thing is poorly ran from the top down.
Because it just shows you how you can run it. It's a cash cow. He can run it like shit and not make a decent product for 25 years and still be worth, and his value goes up hundreds of millions of dollars every year to now it's like almost $6 billion. He bought the team for what? Wasn't it like 200 and under 250 million, I think?
Yeah, something like that.
It was like 200 something million, and now it's worth $6 billion and growing. Every year it grows. And he proves that you don't have to have a winning product. You don't have to, put the best team out there. You just have to have eyeballs, and we all watch it because.
Well, then don't give me this shit about wanting to win because you don't want to win.
I don't think he does. I think he wants to win just to say he can do it without Jimmy, but that's a 25-year grudge he's been holding on to. That's been holding us back. Because if he really wanted to win, he would say, he would admit, I don't know what I'm doing. I fucked this up for 2.5 decades. I need to step back. You make Will McClay the GM. You let Will McClay pick out his scouts and his guys for player development, and you get a coach that's no bullshit like Ron Rivera. I would have loved to have Ron Rivera as our coach. Defensive-minded, gritty, come into work with your lunch pail and get your job done. Like, that was a good hire by Washington. And we got fucking Mike McCarthy, who's, what is he, 5-14-1 in his last 20 games?
Yeah.
Golly. And they go, well, he's won a Super Bowl. He had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he won one Super Bowl. He made it. Did he make it to another? Or did they just make it to the one?
They may have just made it to
you
the
had
one.
arguably the greatest quarterback of the last 10 years, and you went to one Super Bowl. And yeah, you won it, but Belichick's been to fucking, how many? 6 or 8 of these bitches? Or, he's been to 9 because they've lost 3 and won 6. And yeah, Tom Brady's a great player. Tom Brady's a Hall of Famer. If I were going to pick one quarterback to play a game, though, I think I would pick Prime Rodgers over Prime Brady. And you made one Super Bowl appearance with that guy. So I don't think he lived in his barn and looked at analytics for a year and studied. I think he just sold us all a bag of shit. And he only had to convince 2 people. That was Jerry and Stephen Jones. He did a good job convincing them too. And now we know how hard it is to get fired by the Joneses if they like you. Unless you're like Chan Gailey or Dave Campo.
I feel like we're there. I feel like
we're in an abyss, man. And our division is so shitty. All I want to do is keep losing. We woke up after that butthole trucking, and we were still in first place. And it just sucks to be the laughingstock because everyone's like, oh, they suck. Yeah, we know we suck, man. We're out here, like rubbing our foreheads every time we see a stupid play, and it's like, just give me a top 5 pick. Let's rebuild this. Let's cut the fat off the team we don't need. Let's get a new coaching staff. Top 5 pick. Like, it's over, man. This year's over.
The Cowboys had 4 12-men on the field penalties in 5 consecutive quarters.
Oh my God, is that true?
Yep.
That's something you don't even see in like 2A high school football.
No.
That is amateur hour.
That's just proof that nobody knows what's going on. There's no accountability. Sad. No accountability by anybody.
Speaking of that, I just looked at this one thing I wrote. When it was 28-3 and we tried a 58-yard field goal. We're down 28-3.
Yeah.
And we're kicking 58-yard field goals. Of course it wasn't good. That was a Garrett move. I thought this guy had some big nuts to put on the table. Why don't we go for it? We're already getting trounced. That's when you just pull out all the stops, man. Because we're gonna lose. Let's go down swinging. Let's not kick 58-yard field goals that are wide right by 8 feet. It was just the whole time, man. It was the same blueprint for the year. Turn the ball over, let them score. Offensive possession for us, 3 and out. Next possession, turn the ball over, let them score. And you're like, I've seen this for 5 straight weeks now. Why do I do this to myself?
Another stat that'll blow your mind.
I don't want to hear it.
I have more fingers on my hands than Kyler Murray had completions in that game. He had 9.
Well, you got 11 fingers, though.
He had 9 completions.
That's what they said. They were like, what if I told you Kyler Murray completed 9 passes, and if you take away that 80-yard one, it would have been like for 111 yards. So he had basically, so if you take away that one, so it's 8 completions for like 111-something yards, and you lost by 4 touchdowns. You'd be like, my God, well, how many rushing yards do they have? Oh, like 240,
Yeah.
And then I posed the question before, like 500 total yards or 40 points. Well, they were 2 points away from that. And if Kyler Murray was, because he was off to start that game.
Yeah,
I think he was too he was too hyped
Yeah.
to come back home and play that game. But the 40-yarder to Kurt really just boosted his stats. But he had good scrambles, and it just shows you cannot let that guy get a corner on you. You cannot break containment and try to crash the edges on him. He's a squirmy little fuck. He's just going to get out of it.
Yeah, and you got, there was one play where Jalen Smith was spying him. I'm like, so you've got the guy that can't run laterally,
guarding a guy who's the
spying.
quickest sideline to sideline player. Yeah.
What fucking scheme is that?
That's a
Tell me what that
that's
is.
the white flag in the
Jalen Smith, if you cannot design a scheme to where he can just run north and south, and he can just be a downhill pass rusher. Just get him off.
Yeah,
the field.
he should be a designated pass rusher.
But he's not because you paid him the money.
Yeah, we're paying him. We're paying Tank $20 million to get a sack and a half. And don't tell me he's good against the run game because I get it. But $20 million players, Khalil Mack does more than play the run game. You know, Aaron Donald does more than play the run.
He's unlike Zeke or not so much Zeke, but definitely Jalen. Tank earned his contract.
Before.
We just didn't think that it would be this bad.
Again, but we're paying guys for past, not in the future. Because I look at Byron Jones and people go, he didn't have an interception last year. You know,
his catch rate percentage against was like 5%.
Yeah, that's because no one threw to him because they knew he was blanketing them.
Yeah,
he was covering that receiver like their fucking shadow. So whenever it goes, you don't look at stats. You don't look at what he did last year. It's going forward, Byron Jones is still a easily top 10 corner in the league, and he got paid like it. And we're paying other people at other positions top 5 or top 10 money that most people wouldn't even give second contracts to. I get Zeke was great his rookie year, but you don't pay running backs when they get that old. You just don't. It's hard to give them a second contract. I'm in the boat where every third year you draft a running back in like the 2nd to 4th round, so you still get a good quality. You know, Dalvin Cook was drafted in the 2nd round. Alvin Kamara, I think, was a 3rd round pick. So you find those guys, let them play out their rookie contract, and if they're generational, like I get Derrick Henry got paid, Christian McCaffrey got paid, Saquon will get paid. And we looked at Zeke at the time, but we were wrong. Because at the time we were like, all right, he's fucking us. He's forcing us to pay him now, but he's a great player. He's not going to fall off. Every year he would show up to training camp with a belly, and he'd have to work his way back into it. I doubt Derrick Henry shows up with like his fingers in a Funyuns bag.
No, but Zeke looked good in the first game, and he looked in shape this year. I will give him that. But he's running behind absolute shit.
He's running behind shit, and I'll give him this. That first fumble he had where Dalton was going down and just kind of threw it. He caught it on the run, and the way he just turned. He just
kind of turned.
He turned, and when he was tucking it, and I think it was Budda Baker who had the game of his fucking life.
Again, we could have drafted him. We passed.
Yeah, I looked that up. That he was drafted 2nd round, right in the mid. It was like pick number 56. You know who we took in that round? Or you know who we took first, though? That was a taco draft.
Yeah.
So we could have had Budda Baker. We could have had T.J. Watt and Ryan Ramczyk, who's now like one of the best guards in the league. It's like, and I get it's in hindsight, but me and you, at least me and people I remember saying like, that was a terrible fucking pick. From the very beginning, I was against Taco and just proved that we were right. Like, that was a terrible pick. And it just, when I saw Budda Baker, because that was a safeties and nose tackles, it's like we have a vendetta against them.
Yeah, we just don't value them.
We don't value them for whatever reason. It's like Jerry's sweetheart got double teamed by a nose tackle and a safety. He's like, I'll never appreciate them or I'll hate them forever.
Did you ever live in a world where you thought you would say, I miss Jeff Heath?
Yeah, because I like Jeff Heath. I've always been a Jeff.
So did I.
I never thought, because he was never going to be like
I never thought he was Ed Reed or Earl Thomas.
Yeah, and he's never going to get paid like it. He probably gets, again, it's a lot of money, but he probably makes $3 to $5 million a year.
At least when you put him in a cover 3 or whatever, he knew his assignment and he would slobber knock you, dude.
You do not want to go across, and he's the kind of guy where it's like, I'm not going to go across the middle of this field and jump for this pass. Jeff Heath's in the middle of the field. He's going to fucking drill me, Whereas now they're like, oh, I can go up, I can catch that, I can get away from Xavier Woods, I'm gone. Daryl Worley ain't got shit on me.
But I fought this notion for a long time. My dad, he always told me, about Jerry Jones this and Jerry Jones that, and Jerry's the problem.
He's right.
It just starts at the top.
It does. When it's 25 years in the making, you can't just say it's this player, it's that coach. It's who's been here the entire time, and it's the Joneses. And I hate to say it, it's not going to change until he's dead. And we just cross our fingers that Stephen Jones is more accepting to change and willing to let go of those reins and not be a control freak.
I've always said I think he is, or I think he will, but who knows?
Because he's made good decisions. And
well, he physically had to stop his dad from drafting Johnny Manziel. That's like a legendary draft day story, but
which is 100% true. And look at that. Look, we got a Hall of Famer out of it.
It's bad. It's a bad, it's a bad time to be a Cowboys fan. I'll go ahead and spoil my what are we listening to, and I've mentioned them before, but I've been listening to a podcast by The Athletic called About Them Cowboys. It's got like John Machota and
Is that the KT?
Kevin KT. Yeah, it's got KT.
KT's the man.
On there. You know, and I've just been kind of living and wallowing in this kind of just funk and fog all week. I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to get up. And going forward, it's going to be hard to get up for these Cowboy games. And
yeah, it's a noon one this week. I'll watch it.
And I'll watch it too. And
I'll probably angry text you by like 12:13, be like, "This is some bullshit."
And I think if we lose, if the schedules work out, we get together and we do a hot take real quick, like 15, 20, 30 minute little
post game rant.
Yeah, I'll throw it up and let everybody enjoy it if that's their thing.
Are y'all doing Thanksgiving this weekend though? Is that Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, but we're doing it at like noon.
That's the time of the game.
Yeah, so I'll watch it over there
right after. Yeah.
So, but anyway, we're going to the football team. I almost called them the R word.
Don't you do it,
dude?
Don't you do it?
Canceled. We're in Washington at FedEx. Yeah, I don't see us scoring more than 10 points, 14 points. They've got a good front. They've got a good corner.
I picked up Washington's defense for this game.
Good call, brother.
Because I figured they're going to get, I'm saying 3 to 4 sacks because our offensive line's depleted. If this is a healthy team, I'm not picking them up. But our offensive line's depleted. They're going to put pressure on Dalton, who's going to make bad throws, and they're going to How can you not expect a defense to get turnovers against us? That's the most, set your clock to it thing this year. Is Cowboys are going to turn the ball over, and they're going to get blown out. I don't think they're going to get blown out this game because is it Kyle Allen or is it Alex Smith going? So either one of those guys, they don't have a dynamic like weapons besides Scary Terry,
and who to me is emerging as a top 10 wide receiver.
Yes, he was great last year. Yeah. That was I think they got him like in the 3rd round, and that was a gem for them. But it's the defense that's going to win it for them. I said their offense sucks, not as bad as ours, but I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think I saw the over under is like 45.5, so I would absolutely take the under. I have the Cowboys losing 17-13. I think we get a touchdown and 2 field goals. Yeah. CeeDee Lamb with the touchdown, of course. And then Zerline with 2 very scary, very shaky kicks where they go hard right and then they just wiggle in right at the end, which seems like
that's the knuckle puck equivalent.
Yeah, dude, you see it and it's like, no. Oh, slides in. That or just way like that 58-yarder wasn't even close. That was a terrible call.
I've got Washington winning 24-10. I think it's not close.
2014?
24-10.
24-10.
Yeah, 24-10. Like I said, I don't see us scoring more than 10.
Yeah, I'm the same way. We don't get. I don't see us getting more than 14.
I think.
Love to be wrong.
Chase Young's got 2.5 sacks coming in. I think he doubles it.
You think he gets up to 5, so 2.5 more?
I think he gets 2.5 more. Yeah.
Because that's a guy that can travel. They got a great dude. They really have a good foundation when you're looking at the NFC East, and it's like if they can put one more good draft together and really find their quarterback, they got offensive weapons and they got a scary defensive front. Probably the best young defensive front in the league.
Shit, let them fuck around and get
Jonathan Allen and Chase Young drafted early.
Let them fuck around and let them get Justin Fields, and let's deal with Justin Fields for a decade and a half.
I don't know. I don't know enough about him. I know he had a great statistic last year and was up for the Heisman, but
I don't think anybody will outjet the Jets, but let them mess around and go get Trevor Lawrence.
No, they would be the favorite with a rookie quarterback to win because our division's terrible. Everyone knows it. We're in the worst division in football, including the Canadian Football League. We're the worst division. So if they were to add, that's what I'm saying. If they could add a quarterback, or because I don't think Dwayne Haas is going to work out, maybe you trade him for peanuts. But if they fucked around and got Trevor Lawrence and then in the 2nd round used it for an offensive weapon or an offensive lineman and built that way, because if you go that route and you take that quarterback early, you have to build your draft around him because their defense is fucking good. They could turn that around so quick and they could be the team to beat for the next 10 years. If that's a big if too, to get Lawrence, because at this point the Jets are as bad as we are.
Yeah, but we talked about it. If I'm Lawrence and his team, there's no way I'm going to that dumpster fire of an organization. I'm pulling an Eli. Going back for another year at school. I don't know.
Because he was a true freshman, right? So
he could go back another year, I believe.
That would be because you have to do 3 years away from high school. So if he was a true freshman, he has to be a true junior, technically. So he could go back for his 4th year, and then he could. If you graduate, can you stick for? I doubt he does that. I doubt he does that though. You hope that whoever, literally anyone other than the Jets, gets the first round pick.
I don't go to that organization, and we talked about it last week, but it's crazy.
How does Adam Gase still have a job too? That's what fucking blows my mind.
That organization's terrible.
I guess that's the only explanation is why you're not firing that turd.
Going back to that defense real quick for the Washington. It's crazy that they're good on the defensive front when Ryan Kerrigan is almost an afterthought.
Yeah, and he was their consistent
he was a cornerstone
all-pro
of that.
I think he's close to the all-time sacks leaders, maybe behind Bruce. No, it wasn't Bruce Smith. He was. I don't know. I think he is close to the all-time sack leader for that team. And you're right. He's faded back now because they're like, hey, we got these guys that can absolutely get to the quarterback, so he can come in situational downs.
That's a great third or fourth option.
Oh yeah, if he's your third down pass rusher, absolutely.
But there's just no hope. I'd feel hopeless. It's just another year wasted.
Really, this
that could have been
down
avoided.
To our line. Well, injury bug bit the shit out of our legs.
I know, but there's other organizational things that are going on.
Oh yeah, besides the injuries. It's
an
accumulation and the injuries were just the final straw. That it's
and the losing doesn't help. If we were winning, you wouldn't be hearing this. And I was listening to, and this is the last thing, and then we can get out of here. But I was listening to the Stephen Jones press conference, and I'm getting to the point where I don't want to listen to anybody. Jerry, Stephen, Mike McCarthy. I don't want to listen to any of them because they're just telling me the same bullshit. They're not going to say anything. But it's funny that they asked about Randy Gregory and they wouldn't commit to him being active this week.
His suspension's up.
Yeah,
right?
You were a team that is dying for pass rush, and you've got a cat that can do it and can do it well. And you're not going to... Why wouldn't you start him? Throw him out there. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you have to lose?
And it's just that bullshit politicking that the Joneses are famous for. So what, are we going to wait till Sunday? Are you gonna trot out fucking Don Terry Poe?
Which has been a waste of money, dude. He is such a buzz for us. He is 3 years past even being a decent football player. And that was one of our big signings. That was us committing money to a nose tackle for the first time.
And you can't see me, but my mood has definitely changed since we got
flushed in the face.
The Halloween stuff. I'm rubbing my head, my hands. I'm visibly this team makes me sick. There's no fight.
I get it. There's no fight. It's because at the end of the day, they all get paid. They all drive their.
But so does everybody else in the league.
Yeah, but I'm saying win or lose, we made these guys all millionaires and we glorify them. They know they can lose. They know that this team can go 4-12 and they'll still be the number one most watched team, the most valued team with the highest merchandise sales. And at the end of the day, they're going to take pride in that. They're going to say, people love us.
Yeah, I got them losing 24-10. Let's just not win another game.
I'm cool with that.
Let's get. I really think three. Obviously, somebody's going to win the division, and they're going to pick 19th, no worse than 19th. But there's going to be the other three NFC East teams picking inside the top 10.
Yeah, you can easily have 3 teams in this division in the top 10.
Somebody on Twitter was like, "Could all 4 pick inside the top 10?" Well, no, somebody's going to make the playoffs, so they're going to pick 19th or better. Or worse. So, no, you can't have all 4. But we could definitely have 3 picking inside the top 10, which I'm fine.
Yeah,
give me Micah Parsons,
yep,
who is the Penn State stud linebacker.
Who would turn this defense around with the healthy Sean Lee and Parsons. And then wouldn't you go, we should get some compensatory picks.
And LVE, and I think Sean Lee should just hang it up.
Hang it up and immediately become a coach.
Yeah, and then
I'm down with that.
Whatever we get out of Jalen, we get out of Jalen.
If we can get then we can have Jalen be that pass rusher.
But
to see what we get.
You need a couple D tackles. You need a linebacker. You need a couple safeties. You need a corner. Just all defense.
Well, I was gonna say there's obviously 7 rounds. I'm pretty sure we have all 7 plus.
No, we've got. I just heard it today. We've got 11
because of the compensatory.
We've got 11 picks that could turn into 13 or 14.
Wow, that's actually awesome.
By the end.
So, and you can't use them all defense, but if we have 13, I'd use about 8 to 9 on defense, you know?
And then my other
Because
ones,
even those guys that aren't starters can be special teams contributors. You know, if you have that many players and you can retain them and then those guys actually get starting time in their first year, like that's a good pick. Even if you're a 6th round pick, if you make the 53 man and even if you're just special teams contributor, you're a good player right now. First year, you know, that taste of the game that soon, that to me is a good pick. So you got to get guys that obviously you can't get all Pro Bowlers and Hall of Famers, but guys that can contribute and that we're not just cutting by the time we're having to shave down our roster. I want to keep as many of those guys as we can because that tells me that they're hungry and they're playing better than some of these veterans.
This weekend, I would have cut Poe to make room for Gregory.
Yeah,
no shit.
Why not?
But anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Or actually, cut us off too soon. We've got one last thing. What are we watching and what are we listening to? I already gave up my what am I listening to? But I am watching. Me and the wife are big Worst Cooks in America fan.
Worst Cooks
on Food Network. It's really great. Like every season, they pick 12 of the worst cooks in America.
Are these cooks that think they're actually good?
No, they're just regular people.
So they know they suck.
Yeah, they're just terrible. Yeah, and their friends and family, like, they nominate them. And
that would be a heartbreaker.
But they know they're terrible.
But if you were like, once a month you had the family over and they're like, yeah, we actually nominated you for this. We hate coming to your house.
Right. But no, it's a great series, and it's two, obviously, professional chefs. One of them is Anne Burrell. I don't know if you've ever seen her, but she's the chick who's got white hair, and it looks like a cockatoo. Like, she's got, like, crazy hair. And then she's usually got somebody else with her, and they divide up, and they pick teams, and it's competition. And
to see who's the worst.
And they coach them up, you know, and they whittle it down to the final.
By giving them bad advice?
No, by giving them good advice.
But they're trying to be the worst.
No, they are the worst cooks in America, but
they're trying to be the best of the worst.
Best of the worst.
Okay.
So they're getting.
I was gonna say we just put a bunch of hair in there.
No. They teach
I can be the worst.
No, they teach them like every episode, like they learn a new discipline or they learn to cook something new every week, and there's elimination every week, and so you've got to perform and actually learn.
I like cooking shows too.
Pick it up, dude. It's good.
I definitely would get on that.
They're on demand, and I'm sure you can get them on.
We got that through Hulu.
I'm sure you can get them on. I'm sure you can get them on Hulu or Netflix or something. But it's really good. But they're doing like a 3-week run because they're in between seasons right now. But they do a 3-week run. It's Halloween callback. So they're like people who got eliminated before the championship, and they're doing like a Halloween like little 3-week special. So that started last week. So. We watched this week's, and then we got one more. But we love Worst Cooks in America. It's really good. But if you like cooking shows, it's like a competition show.
Yeah,
there's different challenges, and they've got to perform, and they get judged like on their dishes every week. So it's really good. And then I told you I've been listening to About Them Cowboys. Another good cowboy podcast I've just been listening to just to help myself cope is about Hanging with the Boys. It's got Jesse Holly, Nate Newton, and really Jesse Holly's the one that's not afraid to go in and tell it like it is. And good. I follow him on Twitter and YouTube, and he puts out his own videos. And
I'm glad to see he's still in the media market.
Yeah, he was on the
fan for a while. Yeah,
but he's still in the market. He's still around. He's actually employed by the Cowboys because Hanging with the Boys is put out by Cowboys.com.
And he was the one that won the 4th and Long competition.
Yeah.
So
no, he's
even though he's from like New Jersey and went to North Carolina, I could see why he's settled here.
No, he's
made a living here.
He's got a living here, and he really tells it like it is. He does not hold back. Like Sunday, I tuned in. He does a post game on his Twitter live. He does like Twitter live. He just had no words. He's like, y'all are just gonna have to give me questions because I can't. Like, I just don't have anything for y'all tonight. Yeah. And you could tell like how physically, because he loves the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, so he played with some of those guys still.
But he's super critical. Like he goes, Jerry Jones signs my checks. But the one thing I won't do is I'm not going to get on here and talk shit about Jerry Jones like y'all want me to, because y'all aren't going to go into your boss's office and tell, he makes a good point.
That's a good point.
Like, but I will not hold back on this team, and he doesn't, and that's one thing I appreciate, because there's nothing worse for me during the week than listening to Brad Sham and Mickey Spagnuolo come onto the fan and just ass kiss.
Because they've been with the organization forever.
And they're company men.
That's the company men through and through.
Yeah, they're not going to come and be critical, but Jesse Holly will, and KT will, and Bob Sturm will, and Jeff Kavanaugh will. So those are the guys I kind of listen to during the week, and I've just been wallowing in Cowboy pity and misery all week.
I'm just a glutton for punishment being a Cowboys fan right now.
That's what I said. A couple weeks ago, I was watching. I forget which game it was.
Pick your poison. Which game was it?
And I said, Landry, look at me in my eyes. I said, you see that team right there with the star in their helmet? They will always let you down.
Damn. That's an early life lesson you're teaching that kid.
And Lauren was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm teaching him about disappointment. I was like, that team right there, you see that? They will always let you down. No matter how much they give you hope and how much they want to tell you that they're good and this will be different, they will always let you down. Your dad will never let you down. But that team right there, those assholes will always let you down. So, a little lesson. I'm off my soapbox. My blood pressure's rising. Go ahead.
See, Doug. For me, listening, when I knew we were going to do the Halloween themed, I just wrote down some of my favorite Halloween suggestions for podcasts. So one's just called Creepy, and that's where it's written by like amateur authors that are usually posted to Reddit. And then I guess he must get like their permission. He always gives them credit, like this episode was written by so and so.
And he like writes a transcript and like reads it.
Yeah, and he just turns it in. He'll get like voice actors. So there's always it's usually actually this is a different one that reads actors. So he's usually the one that tells the stories. So they're individual stories, and they can be anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half. Some of them have multiple parts, but with these. And the one I'm about to tell you, they can be very hit or miss. So you can listen to a full 30 minutes, and then there's the ending, and it's like, that was a wet fart of a story. But but sometimes you're listening to one, and by the end of it, you're just like blown away. Like it's one of those endings that you just didn't see coming. So they can be. There are a lot of hit and miss. And the other one that I'm referring to is called the No Sleep Podcast. And again, that's like there was a No Sleep on Reddit. So a lot of these are just amateur authors. It's not like Stephen King writing this or whoever. It's just regular everyday people that had this good idea and write it down. But with the No Sleep Podcast, each episode is usually 60 minutes to an hour and a half because there are multiple stories. And as soon as they're done with one, it'll just end, and it'll just give you a preview of like the next one coming up, a little backstory and who is the voice actors in this episode, and then it'll just go right into it. So sometimes if you catch a good one where they pair up three together, you'll just get a great hour and a half block of like scary stories. I guess if I had to pick one, Creepy's better for individual because it'll give you a little story, and if it's 20 minutes and it sounds interesting, just listen to it for 20 minutes. With No Sleep, it's difficult because at the very beginning, he'll tell you like, on today's episode, we have 3 tales that involve, and it'll at least give you a heads up, because if they're all about fairies and mermaids, just for example, that was a terrible example, but if that was it, you're like, yeah, fuck that, I'm skipping it. If the next one's about like a ghost story or a psycho killer in the farm, you'd be like, well, that's a little interesting. So at least they'll give you a heads up, like what's coming up. So, like I said, if you're into it, give them a shot. It can be a big investment, but for me, I just listen to this shit all day for like a good 4 or 5 hours at work. I can just listen to podcasts. So I will give them all a chance and listen to them. And like I said, some of them are hit or miss. Some of them you're going to think that was a waste of time, but then you'll get that rare hidden gem where it just like blows you away and like goosebumps. You didn't see it coming. Last thing, if you're looking for just something dark to listen to this Halloween, you could always just listen to Black Sabbath. So that's what I've been listening to when I get in the mood. It's like Creepy Podcast, No Sleep, and Black Sabbath. And for watching, we actually watch 2 different things I could talk about. I can talk about a happy movie or a dark, depressing documentary. So, which one you want?
Let's do both.
Both of them.
End on the happy one.
Okay.
I feel like I've creeped everybody out with my Cowboys depression.
Yeah.
It's real, dude.
I know it is. I'm living it too, man.
It's real to me, damn it.
It's still real. And it's going to stay real. This one, it was called An American Murder. It's the Netflix special. It's like a documentary. And to me, it was like really chilling and real. I know documentaries are all real, but this one's actually told through like home video footage. Like there's never a scene where they like sit down and talk to somebody and interview them, and they get excerpts. Like how some documentaries are, where they kind of get the information from you. Everything was portrayed because the woman who is one of the victims, because if it's in a murder story, and when it's about a family, you got to think who the main suspect is. So I'll just go ahead and tell you, it was a family of mother and father and 2 daughters, and 3 of them died. So you can imagine who's the main suspect.
Yeah.
But the mother like documented everything. She's one of those moms that uploaded their whole lives in a good way, but in again a little narcissistic way. But she was always just like always on Facebook, always posting stuff, and she just thought she lived the best life. That's why it's called like American Murder. It's the killer next door. Like you would have never thought this because you would think they're always posting, they're always doing fun stuff. But the dad, he basically was a bigger guy, not a bigger guy, but he lost like probably 70 pounds. So he lost a good amount of weight, got in really good shape. And you know what happens then? He started to get the attention of other women. So their marriage was kind of already falling apart. But then they were living in Colorado. They were originally from North Carolina. The wife, just to get away, I think it was just to see family. They actually went back to North Carolina and left the husband in Colorado, went to North Carolina to visit family for like 6 weeks. And in that 6 weeks, the dad just like got in this affair with a woman, became really standoffish and distant with the wife, like wouldn't even contact them. And the wife knew, like when she came back, she was texting with a friend, and they'll showing you the actual text. So the movie was so fucking realistic because it's like you're living their lives. They have the conversation.
I may have to. I'll check it out. Sounds good.
The what's the word I'm looking for? Where it's like transcripts. They have transcripts of all these. So you see her communicating with her friends, and she's like, we were gone 6 weeks, and he won't even touch me. The wife's like, I just want to have sex with him, and he won't even look at me. And she's like, it must be one thing. It must be that he's cheating on me, and so eventually the police get involved because it's like she's missing with the kids, and the dad's like, I don't know where they're at, and he's pleading, he's going on camera and pleading, and I don't want to give everything away, but the ending, when you find out how the murder was done, I was fucking crying, man, because he has 2 little girls. I don't see how you could ever hurt your own kid. To me, that is like the biggest piece of shit to anyone that would hurt children. And how do you hurt your own child? I'll never understand how you can hurt a child, victimize a child, but to do it to your own flesh and blood. And if you watch it and when you find out how he did it, it was the most heartbreaking thing where I'm like, y'all should just fucking, don't even give him a stay on death row, just line him up in a firing squad and fucking kill this guy. The way he did it to his family was the most chilling, cold-blooded fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. And he is a monster. He is the worst kind of human. When you hear what he did to his little girls, you'll wish he was dead right now. So it's really fucked up. Like I said, if you have kids and you watch that, there was multiple times where me and Claire were just like teary-eyed looking at each other. I don't get how anyone could do that to their child. So anyways, it was fucked. So I'm going to end it with a happy movie.
Please do.
Yeah. So me and Ellie watch our movies every week, and she got to pick this one out, and we've seen it before. I absolutely love it. I was thrilled to rewatch this with her. Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, it's so good.
I love Wreck-It Ralph, so good, dude. Like, Claire came home, like, near the very end, and Ellie was still sitting up with me on the couch. Like, she laid down, she's watching it, she'll doze off. She'll doze off, but she was laying down. I'm like, all right, she's about to go to sleep. She sits back up, and she's fully invested, and we are watching Wreck-It Ralph because she likes Princess Penelope from Candy Rush, and I love Ralph, and it's just cool to see all the characters, like, from... Because it takes place like in an arcade, they're trapped in their arcade, but when the arcade closes, you can basically travel around from game to game. So, and you see all these different characters, and it's like all the characters you would see from the old arcades. Yeah. So it's so cool how they incorporate that. It's one of those movies where it's like it's good for kids, but as an adult, you will love it.
Yep.
If you're into video games, it's John C. Reilly as Ralph, and he's just a funny guy. He's hilarious in that movie, and it's visually, it's cool. Like when they go to the Sugar Rush game, which is it's like an amazing place. And it's like, how creative are those people that came up with that? Just that idea alone. Like when someone wrote down the premise and was like, hear me out. This is what it's about. Like it's going to be cool. And sure enough, it's a great movie. I would highly recommend watching that with your kid. You suggest it to them and it doesn't matter if because I bet you watched it with Landry. Yeah, I bet Landry liked it. Mm-hmm. I have a little girl. She loved it. So boy or girl, it doesn't matter. They love it. And then they made a sequel. Oh, and I was going to say Claire came in like 3/4 of the way done and got to see the end of it. And she was getting into it. And she was like, I really wish I could have seen this with you. I said, I will absolutely rewatch this with you.
Yeah, that's an easy
rewatch. I love Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah. And I was like, after this, Ralph breaks the internet.
Yep.
Like there's a sequel. We could watch it together. So, I'm glad I ended on a happy note because Wreck-It Ralph and Ralph Breaks the Internet are 2 highly recommended movies. Even if you don't have kids.
No, it's very good.
Watch it by yourself, man. It's great.
And speaking of happy notes, and I was debating this whole time whether I was going to do this or not, but I kind of just want to end on I don't know how to put it, but everything with like the debates this week and all the negativity that comes around that surrounds that, and COVID, and I got really dark during the Cowboys stuff, but this week, or as you go on in between episodes, just take a minute to appreciate like the small things. Like, I do it to myself, but like I get stuck in YouTube holes and I'll watch political commentary, and you just kind of realize like what kind of shape we're in as a world and as a country. But and it's easy to lose track of like the good things that you do have in life.
Yeah,
Like
the negativity will wear you down.
I appreciate coming once a week, and we talk every day. I mean, we text every day, but I appreciate getting to come once a week and get to do this with you, and be able to share kind of our thoughts with other people. And thank you to everybody that's reached out. Brady, if you're listening, you did a great job kind of marketing for us, and Superfan Troy, we appreciate it, and Paul, your friend Paul.
Yeah, Paul hooked it up today too. That crock pot. I'll have to send you a picture of that taco soup.
I know he appreciates the show. So from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everybody that listens.
Yeah, even the people that we don't, because there's people we'll never meet that listen to this, and I appreciate you guys checking it out.
Yeah, but just take some time this week and kind of reflect on the little things that you got, and you may not, and hopefully you do appreciate those things, and look back and express to those people. But hug your loved ones, and
pet your dogs, belly rubs.
Yep.
Your cats. I got a cat. Love that fucking cat.
Just take stock of the things you got in your life, and don't let the world kind of beat you down, because I'm the worst one about it. I'll get beat down by what's going on in the world, and sometimes I just need to stop and appreciate what I do got going on. And this podcast has been very therapeutic for me. It's been very good for me. It's given me kind of a purpose again, and it's given me something to work on and a project to work on. But with that, I think we're going to get out of here. But for Matt
and Andrew,
we're out.